小九立功，2打1，永远被卡在这个墙角，有点尴尬。不过他是满血打赢了，1打1，赢了，永远。
是，我觉得 GX 这一波蹲到机会要来鸠占鹊巢，应该是没有问题，只要小心一下这个擦地的 Senchi 所蹲点的位置。但就要看一下茂野单兵意识了。茂野单兵意识已经先摸到了近点了，收割掉的是 Apple Cat 的一整队成员中呢，可以再来打 Senchi 没问题。茂野的。
와! 아카네! 차량을 타고 야, 영어!
Termasuk satu pemain juga lemparkan bom lagi banyak sekali smoke kejar atas tampaknya tim Problem Laser nampaknya berhasil dengan satu pemain nampaknya berhasil dengan 5 kill bahkan jangan panik lemparkan lagi yang sangat baik dilakukan oleh tim Problem itu Loe turun Loe bakalan turun terus spray down
被发现了，血魔直接被打掉，
找机会，
对吧？趁着这一波直接连干2个。 这个头皮位打得非常精准，与此同时 ，MCG 也发起了进攻，
打了3个了，
把自己打。
好像是跌倒的毛毛被弄跟 B 给点掉，下方成功打完之后，看上方媒体上，刚 J 号这边侧脑没有掌握住，但没关系，打。
哇，继续拿到人都是又绕到一个后脑，哇！这边的走位都是很精锐的，这边的部分已经听到对手进来的枪声，马上 reload 完以后，再一波闪射的出枪都是用秒的，有带到。
Yeah, he did. That was actually so close there. Old Pat
Caps with the tier 3 helmet.
From freaking Narnia.
No!
Oh my god, he actually gets him.
By the way, these guys need me are going. You mean on full counter?
Wow!
ได้ครับผมเป็น5 กิโลได้ไปแล้วเข้ามาที่เพชรเด็ดต่อเลยปิดไม่ได้แบบนี้มีแผลแน่นอนเปิดประตูมายังไงครับผมเพชรเด็ดคนเดียวกระสุนไม่ได้รีโหลดเหลือ6 นัดเช้าเปิดประตูเย็นปิดประตูหมดแล้วใจลิงได้จากกุลามาด้านนอกเข้าไม่ได้ด้านในก็ไม่ให้เข้าเหมือนกันเพชรเด็ดกันไปก่อนได้จากกุลาได้ไปก่อน
地势并不是很好，119是一个人趴在了树后等待机会啊，等一波伏击啊，他们就觉得先把
3S 这边又爆人，全是把握，小心1打3，再来一个1传4。
可惜反弹到他四周围。
是哇，等下这个防区同样的画面有一点 déjà vu， 不过这一次的结局完全不一样，茂野1扛多180。
Yeah, I mean, well, they still have a chance, but there's a lot of teams around that can actually see them. But the Molotov teams around that can actually.
ฉีกซ้ายมาเห็นโกลเด้นแคททั้งยวงสเปรย์ใส่ล่วง2โอ้ยเรียบร้อยอะ
바로 붙는 게 아니라
카샤 덤보 선수는 매복 플레이 여기도 혼자거든요.
그건 당할 것 같은데요.
덤보 이거
알아요. 안 해요.
네. 그 정확한 위치 알아요?
정확한 위치는 살짝 모르는 것 같기도 한데요.
안쪽 봤어요.
It is him. It's him.
Yeah, I think it's Axel northeast of us.
No, blue. The wild card's on blue.
Wild card blue. Okay.
Yeah, Jazz I just heard his one tap from SLR.
They're gonna crash something. You ready to
Guys pushing below us. Yeah, tunnel this car. This is the most important car in our life.
Where are they?
They're spinning out on my beam.
Kill them.
Rock my mark. They're just running around like bots. They're scared. Let them get killed. They're in the open, basically. There's on yellow.
We gave up the west. C8.
What?
You should be holding that at all times. People forced out on orange. They're forced out.
Wildcard 2 up.
Everybody just got this side right now.
I'm telling them
These are
wildcard.
kills. You need to watch out for the at the same time. So. People on orange are forced into the open with nothing to
Starts
play.
running in the open on yellow. Wildcard.
Yeah.
We're gonna need to run down here?
Eventually, yeah. These guys are forced in the open south. They're running, literally, in the open, driving.
Yeah.
One guy driving.
They're driving.
One up. Healing. Those are free kills. We need to see if we get any of the points there. Wildcard one up.
We can't T8, so.
Get in there. Flush the shit.
See? And ATC on our right.
ATT white.
3 more points. 3 more points.
Same, by the way.
Yep.
We just play on top and we're in.
ATC not one of those. That's important. That could be Wizard. Wizard's still alive.
I think Wizard might be the T8 guy.
Maybe. I'm running down like this. I think it's a good run.
Okay, wait, we gotta go together, maybe.
I just gotta go. I don't have time to wait. The knocks.
Okay. Top 4 Wizard, top 4 Wizard.
Release two. Not T8, not T8.
Bottom floor. 2 on bottom floor. Wizard lit.
You say 2?
2. Nade it if you got it.
Watch it for me. Watch it for me.
One top 4.
I'm holding your top floor.
Top floor peeking.
Can't cover that. He shut the door,
I'm trying to cover it, but...
Top 4, the open door.
Back one bottom floor. They're baiting me. I gotta deal advantages. Okay. We gotta make a plan this quick. It's the most important thing.
I got knocked from far. They're split.
Can't save.
No. He's
Getting
on
pressure
blue.
from this team. Pressure from the right team.
Blue. It's ATC. They're far up. T8, just knock them. On blue.
Okay.
Your last one.
Wildcard could be rocking.
again.
Or Wildcard could be rocking to you. Volley bottom floor. Wildcard right.
Yeah, flash.
What?
Another.
Yep. If they both bleed, we win.
Yep. Seriously?
Yep.
We get those kills.
Oh.
I'm watching. I see a knock on my screen, so.
They're like.
You got one.
blood.
I see the one. Bro.
Get him.
Please.
He killed T8. He's going down to res.
He's
leaving.
He's leaving.
He might
Wait,
win.
we actually win. We actually win.
I think so. Comms.
There's no.
Relax. I don't know for sure.
Sure.
Civ, you flush ATC guy, right?
100%.
He did. 100%.
We win.
I have 2.
Pretty sure we
There's
win.
no
outside.
way.
Let's sure we win outside.
Oh my! Finally.
There's no way, bro.
There's no way.
I don't know,
I
man.
don't believe it.
I don't believe
Relax,
it.
relax. Give me your kills. Give me your kills.
I have 5.
4. I have 2.
Okay, 5, 4, 2,
11.
13, 14. They had 2 points.
Let's go.
We did it. We did it.
Beat him on the time.
We
Pretty
did it.
sure.
We did it.
Oh, bro.
Oh my god! You guys are legends. Every single one of you.
Bro, there's no way, man.
Nice dude. Clutched up again.
Oh yeah, it's a team effort there, boys.
You're muted, bud.
You're muted.
You have to unself it.
I can't. It's not over until it's over. I just need to see it. I need to see it, man. I gotta see it.
Nice check in that corner, bro. Oh my
I just
God.
have to see it. You said to me that if we win, if they bleed out, I stood up and just started biting my nails. I'm not joking. I got out of my chair. I haven't bit my nails since I was 12 years old, and I'm a lot older than 12. Lose my shit. I will fly to each one of your houses and just kiss you on the forehead.
I'll kiss you back.
Each and every single one. If we did this, bro, holy shit, I will snap. That's what I was saying.
We did.
You won by 2
Wait.
points.
We did it.
We
did it.
I love you guys. I love each and every single one of you.
Oh my god.
I can't believe it. God damn it. Good boys. Never give up. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Holy let's go, boys. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Seriously, good. You guys should be so proud of yourselves. You should be so proud of yourselves.
We finally are champions, boys. We're finally champions.
You should be so proud.
Second place curse has been broken. That's my tweet.
Like, way to keep your head in it and not give up.
In the middle of the field, running open. On this hay bale. Yeah.
Behind the hay bale.
Fucking hell. He's smoking out the shack now.
He's gonna run out. I'm hard scoping him as well.
Let's just jump out.
Just
Run out left. He's taking damage.
Almost knocked that guy on the bale. He's on green. Hit twice with us.
Where are these close guys?
They're just on the people.
We can take this slow. We don't have to like insta push it. Let's kill the south guy first.
He's right, middle smoke. Right smoke.
Maybe he tries to make that run with the gap. Oh, smoke me up. Like a phase 3.
One of NLT knocked. One of the road guys is 1 HP. Where is he? Smoke?
Knock.
Nice.
That was the shot guy, right?
Yeah, knocked shot.
Road.
Dead, all field dead.
Should be on the cars. Nice. No.
1 HP on the road. 1 HP on the road.
Knocked a different team.
1 HP on the road if you didn't flush him.
I didn't.
Nice.
I'm second bleed, I'm dead. I'm dead.
I'm no smoke.
Have to resin serve you on res.
Resin?
It's only one.
Just res. 4v1. I'm gonna run up right.
Go under the road and stuff. Yeah. Nice.
Come left.
Someone can do it as well.
Yeah, I'm coming with you.
Rushing this truck.
I'm looking for you two. None.
A road by me. Coming, pushing him straight.
I'm flashing him.
Behind the car probably.
The car?
Yeah, he is.
I'll flash.
Nice.
Bad.
You guys are sick. One bomb.
Had 9.
2 bomb. You had 9?
Yeah.
You're f***ing cheating, bro.
Go, boys.
Let's go, lad.
Let's go.
Finally won something. Let's go.
Congrats.
We're just cracked and nuts. Better.
So
Can you finally win something? DreamHack?
V1 DreamHack.
Yeah.
That was like a small
That was small though.
Yeah. This team hunts for the big thing, bro. Let's go.
Arrow.
Yo.
Time.
2 and 2. Okay.
Oh, I'm so happy.
I'm going then. Congrats, guys. I'll be right back.
Big one kill.
เ Welcome everyone. It is time for the PUBG Continental Series 2 Asia final day. It is paper thin and bench. We are here. It is an extremely close finals right now. 10 points separates first and second place. It is T1 currently ahead, but only 10 points separates them from Infantry from China. It is going to be one crazy nuts day. 4 games to decide it all. It's going to be 2 Miramars, 2 Erangels, and then we're going to find out who our PCS2 champion is. Bench, I'm super thrilled about this one. This is going to be an awesome day, I think, if anything like yesterday happens again, because it was first T1 coming up with a big win, and then Infantry punches back at the end.
This is absolute madness, Clinton. As you can see on the leaderboard, T1 is barely leading against Infantry for just barely 10 points. Right behind Infantry is going to be Tianbo, 164. And Triumphant Song Gaming also has a pretty good shot if they come up with a huge day. They're only less than 30 points behind, 29. So anything and everything is possible at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we cannot count Tianba and Triumphant Song Gaming out of this at all. They still have a shot. I think Entis is a bit too far outside of it, barring some kind of crazy miracle. But I just can't foresee that happening with how well T1 and Infantry have been playing, how consistent, particularly T1, has been throughout this tournament.
T1 had a little bit lucky that Infantry failed to deliver in the second week, the final day of the second week, but finally, coming into the first day of third week, they started to pick up the points once again. Long Skirt, Boiliang starting to pop up once again. So Infantry definitely leading up to the top, but just 10 points behind. And that could be easily turned over as well. This is your top 5 damage dealers. 911 comes in top number 1 with 7,832. That is one massive number.
Yeah, it's a really, really impressive statistic. Not too far behind him is Longsker, only 500 damage. Longsker has been nuts. And a real, I think, standout here on this leaderboard has been Helen. I think those 4 other players you expect to be up there on those top damage dealers. We've seen them before on these big stages performing very well. But Helen has been an incredible addition to T1 in terms of his new role. So he used to be a play caller for a while for T1. Didn't really work out. Now they've got him in more of a support long-range sniper role, and he is incredible. He has been knocking people left and right, doing really fantastic stuff for T1, really opening up a lot of positions for them.
But on top of the kill leaderboard is going to be Longsker, still strong, just 1 kill away from 911, though 39 and 38. But for Korea, it's Rex. Rex is always in the front line, and that's the reason why he's able to come out with 30 kills. But speaking of T1 doing well, they've been so damn well consistent. They were in the top 5 almost every single game. I would say almost 90% of the games throughout this whole tournament. So if they are able to continue to just pick up 10, 9, 8, somewhere there every single game tonight as well, and if Infantry fails to put out that one big game, maybe like a 25-point game, then things look quite bright in T1's eyes.
Yeah, I think for T1, the key is going to be that Helen and Rex continue to produce. They've kind of really shown up, I wouldn't say unexpectedly, but maybe a little surprisingly to people's, if you've watched T1 for a long time. Not that this is not any knock on Helen and Rex at all, but the 2 big name players on T1 are Star-Lord and Adder. Consistently have been really top players in Korea for quite some time. Now Rex and Helen stepping up, and that's a big part of T1's success. Next, I want to talk about Infantry. Obviously, that team, Longsker, is kind of the heart and soul of Infantry, but the rest of that team playing very well as well.
So the rest of the teammates, so initially what we would say and what the details we would depict on Infantry would be Longsker one-man team. That was how it was ever since 2018, 2019. But coming into 2020, PCS1 and PCS2, the rest of the teammates are popping off. 9, he's always so good with long-range DMRs, and Boiliang and Jiaoyang, some way, somehow, come in and come out with a bunch of kills in their backpack. We did not expect this amount of performance from these 2 players, and they are showing that they got the theatrics under their belt as well.
Yeah, we're seeing that for Infantry, the stepping up of all the other players on their team, their better play calling from Jiaoyang has really propelled them to new heights. I mean, they won PCS1, then they won both the PCL and either the Duya or Huya League, I can't remember which one, in China. And so they've basically been undefeated for the last couple months, and they have another shot to really add to that, kind of trophy case that they've been building and really set themselves up as, for a possibility to be talked about as the best team in the world when we start coming to international, global events once again, when we're able to do those kind of things again. But right now, I don't think there's anybody who's doubting that they're the best team in Asia. And I think if you're coming into this not thinking that they are, in my opinion, the favorite to actually come through and win this, I think you might be a little mistaken, because as good as T1 is, as consistent as they is, there's so much explosive potential on T1. It is scary.
But this is the overview for the PCS2 total regions. We are going to wrap up Asia with tonight, but right away, tomorrow is going to be North America, and 2 days later, that's going to be APAC and EU. These other regions are so damn packed as well, and the chase for #1 is really tight in different regions as well, so definitely do drop by. And the prize pool is insane. $200,000 and 12.5% of the in-game sales will be dedicated just to the players.
And yeah, that's an amazing prize pool for these players, and just getting here is such an important step for these teams to really line their pockets and get them set up to continue to compete and, you know, perform well in future tournaments. And then, you know, I think, you know, the first place team, they're going to get $80,000 US if I'm not mistaken, and that's a huge chunk of change and a really nice take-home gift if you're able to come through. And we think there's about 4 teams that have a good shot. Maybe a huge outside chance for Entis, but it's not looking super great. Right now, it seems like T1, Infantry, and then a lesser extent TSG and Tianba. But definitely, I think those 4 teams have a shot. There you can see how everything is panned out so far. Quite a few wins for some of our top teams, but really nobody's just like completely ran away with stuff. You know, they're just... There's been a lot of consistency. That's why things are so close at the top of the leaderboard. There hasn't been one team that's really just stepped up and put their foot down on everybody. It looked like maybe that was going to be Infantry briefly, but then T1's consistency has just been out of this world. I mean, their number of top 5 finishes in this event has been crazy good.
So initially, we would say T1 is consistent in Erangel at the least part. But at the same time, now having Star-Lord on the team, they're doing so well on Miramar as well. They're always coming out with a couple kills, always coming out in top 5, top 6, if not like top 7 at the worst, with a couple kills still. So
yeah.
No placement points, a couple kills.
I mean, I think we saw maybe their first or second 0-point game. I'd have to go back and look for sure, but at the very end yesterday, and that's what allowed Infantry to close the gap. I mean, in part of the fact that Infantry got a big win, but also that T1 just got, you know, zeroed out for maybe the first time. So you can see here the average match points right now slightly in favor of T1, but the match best is going to Infantry with that 24-kill win they had a couple weeks ago on Miramar. Absolutely one of the most dominant games you will ever see. Go back and watch it. Go back and watch that VOD if you haven't got to see it. But both of them tied on their single-day performances with 54 points being their highest.
So this makes me question how this tournament is going to finish. So we're going to start things off at Miramar, which is a little bit more favored by Infantry as they are more capable in terms of picking up the kills. And right now, T1 has 105 kills and 189 points. Infantry has 179, 10 points behind, but they have 109 kills, so they're above in terms of kill numbers. And if this tournament just some way, somehow ends up to be a tie, this kill point might come to a very crucial game changer.
Yeah, we got to keep track of the kill points because of how close this is. I don't think this is going to go into the last round with one of these 2 teams just absolutely rolling away with it. I think it's going to be close no matter what. And you can see the rankings have been back and forth all throughout this. You can see there's been so many leaderboard changes from day to day. And that's what's made this tournament really exciting. It's what makes Asia such a fascinating region, watching how good Korea and China are and how they continue to push each other to new heights. And you know, T1 now is the lone hope for Korea, it feels like. You know, Entis, again, huge outside shot for them, but right now it's up to T1. And whereas we saw in PCS1 there were 3 Korean teams in the top 4, this time it's China with 3 in the top 4.
So when it comes to Korean team winning PCS2 Asia, right now it just so happens to be the highest chances given to T1. If Korean team wins PCS2 Asia, that team gets an automatic buy-in for PCS3. And then for Korean qualifiers, only 5 teams gets to qualify because 1 seed has been already taken by the winner of PCS2 Asia.
Yeah, so that's a good thing to keep in mind. We don't know, we only get to know how the Korean region is doing it. Each region is kind of allowed to decide how the teams qualify for the future event for PCS3. So in this case, if T1 can win, they do automatically qualify for PCS3, but it has to be a win. It has to be first place, not just the best Korean team. They have to win, as far as we're aware. So this is really exciting. I mean, for Star-Lord, one way or another, what a huge redemption story this entire move to T1 has been for him. Helen and Rex, I mean, really showcasing that they are really strong players in their own rights, and they belong on one of these top-tier rosters as they have played incredibly well, not just in Korea, but now on the international stage as well.
And Adder is just always there. Adder has been very consistent in terms of performance. He's been putting up the kills that T1 desperately needed back in the prior to the PCS days as well. So that is a great addition for Star-Lord as well. Now, Infantry, speaking of Infantry, Longsker, he saved the day for Infantry in week number 2, day number 5, I believe. 4. Yeah, 4.
Yeah.
Longsker single-handedly put up the points that nobody else could have put up. Nine got caught off in the rotation. Bo Liang died out of nowhere. Zhao Yang just couldn't do much, and then Longsker was the solo survivor in the final map of Erangel, and he snaked out like 8-9 points somehow, some way.
He's clutch. He is absolutely clutch. I mean, we saw him. He was the one who took down 4AM at the end of the game, despite, I thought, very smart movements, good play by 4AM. But at the end of the day, it was just Longsker's, mechanical ability is just too strong for a lot of these players to handle. The only player we've seen really go toe-to-toe with them was Under, but that was partially because Under had the favor of having level 3 gear, whereas, Longsker's gear was already broken a bit. So in that case, it was even taking Under having a bit of an advantage in that situation. Now, TSG, these guys have been really, really good. 911 has been incredible. So much damage all over the place, tons of knocks. I think Volibear has been steadfast for them. Sean Dion playing good kind of support types role. Peng, he's all over the place. So this team's very well balanced, I feel like.
They're very well balanced, but one thing that I feel like they do lack a little bit is being aggressive. So the characteristics we depict on the Chinese teams is obviously being super aggressive. If they see a chance to just pound a third party into 2 teams fighting, they will take the chance. But for TSG, they just seem to be a little bit more risk-averse, and I'm not saying being risk-averse is bad, but when it comes to this tight of a score range, you have to take the risk. Otherwise, T1 Infantry, they're going to continue to climb the leaderboard.
Yeah, I think TSG is going to have to get it done on Miramar especially. That seems to be their better map overall, generally. In this tournament, they've been pretty good on Erangel too, but, it has been historically their better map. So I think for TSG, the key here is going to have to be a strong start if they're going to be in that kind of, talk for being the top team here today. Entis needs to just pop the heck off. They just need to go crazy. It has to be a massive day. I mean, they're so far behind right now in terms of a 4-game score. If this was 5 games, I'd feel a little more comfortable that they might have a chance, but it's only 4 games today. 2 Miramars, 2 Erangels, guys. So, being, 41 points behind, that's make-upable. They can put up 55, 60 points in 4 games. I think they can do that, but then that's going to require T1 and Infantry to put up not a lot of points at all, and I don't think that's going to happen.
And what are the chances of T1 not being able to come in top 5 with a couple kills? That's like betting against the worst odds, I would say, and that will just wreck your dreams. But for Entis, we have to live into the meme. They're in the 5th place right now, but if TSG just fails to just come out with a couple more points, then Entis might just be able to take the 4th place, and that's pretty much a win for them as well.
Well, I mean, Entis is always top 5 at every tournament they go to. That's just been their MO, and the joke is because they used to be called OGN Entis Force, that people would call them OGN Entis 4th, because that was the place that they often were finding themselves in. That's nothing to take away from them, because they are that good of a team that they are constantly there. Guys, the final day, PCS2 Asia, the games begin now. Miramar to kick things off, and we are going to be taking off, and I can see the plane path. We'll see if it holds up here as we are coming on up into the air. Looks like it's going to be another Western-heavy plane path to start this one out, Bench.
Western heavy, Western crooked, and this doesn't look too great for the teams that fly all the way to Impala. Looks like Infantry is going to have a long rotation once again if the Circle decides to drop in the northern area. Things don't look too bright in that case, but right now the Circle could go anywhere as long as it touches the plane path. That's how the rule set is, so you never know where the Circle is going to be, but no hot drops this time around, as well as Ghibli is going to have Power Grid and the trash loots around it for free. Sun Sister having a great day, I would say, although they are in the bottom quadrant with 66 points, but they are doing better, I would say. They're definitely doing better as they changed up.
Yeah, yesterday was their best day, and that's unfortunately it's too little too late for Sun Sister. It hasn't been good for the teams that are not from Korea or China, to be frank. And I keep hoping that one of these teams from one of these regions is going to step up, but that just hasn't been the case. Just so you guys know, there's 63 in the lobby. It's not because someone dropped or something like that. A player was suspended from Gex Ace. Booyahoo was suspended for this event today. So that is the situation that they're going to be dealing with throughout the day. So it will be 63 to start throughout all of this. And there you can see we are about to get our first circle as everybody's kind of making their way to their drop spots. It is going to go southwest. So right on top of Ventus, COC, not too shabby either. Infantry, they've kind of contested around Chumacera, but when it comes to getting into Chumacera proper, it looks like for now, with these western-heavy plane paths, Entus has kind of claimed that territory because normally infantry goes Impala. Their secondary drop spot was Chumacera, but with Entus kind of moving that way, they haven't been able to get in there as efficiently.
But if Entus is able to defend Chumacera successfully, if they're able to control the top side of it, that's the highest elevation in that region, and Entus might just be able to sneak a couple more kill points there. Right now, T1 on the rotation Helen took a bunch of damage from SMG in the meantime on the Mirado. Going uphill, you lose a lot of torque and you get slowed down. So things are okay now as they're able to just continue on, transcend into the areas that they want to loot. And right now, just looking over towards Star-Lord, and the redemption story has been real for this man.
Yeah, really just an incredible turn of events for him to have T1 have the confidence to give him another shot to be an IGL, to be an in-game leader for them after being benched, not just, again, from the in-game leader role on VSG, but then also just benched on the team, period. And they reached out. They needed a strong presence. They needed an in-game leader to T1. That's really what they have been lacking. And Star-Lord has been a complete and utter just godsend to them. He has led them to new heights. His confidence levels seem very high to me when I listen to him talk and see him in interviews these days. I think he's refreshed, he's rejuvenated, and he is motivated to win this event.
And T1's IGL style right now fits in so well with the rest of the teammates as well there. We saw T1 take that spot in the second game of Miramar yesterday in the center of the map where it was like phase 4 or 5, and when it comes to that late of a game, it's hard to go for the center because already the meta has changed the center meta. So there's a good chance somebody is already there, and obviously because of the saturation, if you're rotating through a lot of different teams, you're going to get shot at from like 4 different teams, and that's going to be a hard rotation. But Star-Lord himself found the shot that place would have been empty, and they sent the rest of the teammates over there as well, and because of that, T1 won that game, I believe.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That was solely on Star-Lord's ideas and decision-making. He really put T1 in an incredible position. Regardless of what the Circle did, in my opinion, they were going to get a lot of points because of their spread and their ability to get ahead of a couple other teams. He really reads things very well. His Miramar decision-making has stepped up a lot. In the Korea qualifiers, Miramar was their worst map of the two. Here, they've been really, really good on Miramar.
Miramar good. Erangel questionable on the final day as well. The final map. I think T1 decided to go to the dips outside of Pachinki, which is decent if nobody is climbing the hill right next to it. But turns out La Vega was right next to it, and there's a Sun Sister and like Tiamba climbing it as well. So the whole T1 squad got wiped out. And that call out, not bad, not half bad, but turns out it just wasn't good enough in that current situation. So right now, Miramar, T1 has to put up the points in Miramar, I would say.
Yes, absolutely. You kind of have your eyes on them and TSG, I would say. Tianba's great everywhere, so I'm not too worried about them in terms of just like they need to put up points on one map or another. I think for, especially for TSG, Miramar is really important to how they go. And getting a Southern Circle is really nice for them as well. They're a team that likes to work from the south. They're very reminiscent of like a Navi or something like that likes to come from these directions. So this is going to be really fascinating to watch how this one all plays out. Early on, I don't expect anything too nuts, although you never know. Every once in a while, somebody gets a crazy idea and crashes something, but for the most part, things tend to be pretty safe, although I say that, and we cut across E36 and 4 AM, crossing paths a bit over by the water treatment. This is pretty far outside of the circle, so I wouldn't be too surprised if nobody really wants to, kind of fight this out. There just isn't a lot to be gained here unless you get a quick kill and can move on.
And then 4 AM themselves are playing so much better there. They've been winning against VLG in the departments quite a lot, but that's in Erangel. In Miramar as well, though, in the first couple weeks, it didn't show that much of an effort and that much of a result for 4 AM, but finally they are winning fights here and there. And 4 AM took like 10 kills, I believe. Pignut had 9 in one of those matches. Yeah. And that shows that 4 AM is really feeling so much better coming into week 3.
They were just basically non-existent on Miramar, and they were even contesting a drop, and that was a problem. Speaking of problems, Lurena rolling up towards Nan. Nan is here waiting. I don't know if he has any idea, does Lurena, that somebody's here. He's approaching it with a bit of caution, not enough caution. He's getting shot in the back by Little Ghost, and that's going to put him right into the arms of Nan. Quick and easy is our first kill here. Lurena down for Tiamba, not the start they wanted.
And Tiamba is one of the teams that are still in the talks to race for #1, and losing this player early on, especially Rena, who's the top fragger right now in the driving force for Tiamba, is going to slow them down quite a bit, I would say. And I don't know how Tiamba is going to recover from this, but right now the rest of the teammates seems to be lingering around outside of Miramar and into the hillside. So if the circle favors them, then this shouldn't be too much of a problem, although they do lose the biggest gun in the team.
Yeah, it is not definitely not the player you want to go down for Tianba. Although we saw yesterday M200 really started kicking off, and him and Z9 Max were great on Erangel yesterday, so looking to them to kind of pick up the pieces now for this Tianba Esports team. Over to T1, making a late rotation out of Los Leones. I say late compared to most of the other teams. It's not a super late rotation. You can see there's still plenty of time here in Phase 1, but the only two teams outside of the circle still are the Japanese team, Sun Sister and E36. Everybody else is pretty much kind of centered up. 4AM's a little bit out there by El Pozo, but everybody else has kind of found a spot for now. Huge split for, I want to say, TSG over on the southeastern side of Chubacera. They're taking up a lot of ground. Tianba now kind of forced into a bigger split than maybe they wanted, with only one up front in a 2-1. And those are kind of your big ones. Everybody else is just kind of, they're pretty well grouped up, but nobody's getting crazy just yet.
Would be a quiet Phase 1, nothing much happening, nothing too crazy, although we did lose Rena early on from that not scouting out too well and basically taking the risk of farming. But right now, things are very quiet. In the meantime, TSG, just outside of Chumacera Infantry, is going to be set up here at the church, their typical place. We've seen Entis drop here and got completely wiped out.
Yeah.
Sun Sister dropped them in P61 and got completely wiped out.
Yep.
So nobody is probably willing to contest them at this location, I would
No
say.
way. I would never fight them at this church ever. There is no way. No way in hell I would ever fight these guys. No way. Love the SKS skin there from Bullying. That is that is a really nice. I have that one as well, and I love it. It is a great skin. This one's going to make some interesting decisions. I mean, look at how close T1 and Infantry are to each other in relative proximity to this circle. Now, that doesn't mean anything much on Circle 1. They're actually, a couple hundred meters away from each other, so there isn't a whole lot that's going to be contested between them. Sun Sister making their late entrance, as is E36. Circle going over to the east, so that favors T1 pretty heavily, but T1 has to be quick because there is a lot of room on the eastern side, so a lot of teams are going to be pushing, and if you're T1, I think you got to play a little bit safe here. You don't want to get caught with one or two being, lost in transition.
Look at the saturation at the edge of the circle there. There's like 6 teams trying to move in as well. E36 having a little bit easy as they came from the east side of the blue, and they're going to be able to take Los Leones and try to set up Strop at the edge. Surprisingly, nobody has set up trap just yet, but we might be able to see a couple traps coming in now, as there are still 4 or 5 teams still outside of the circle, and they have to start moving in as well.
Yeah, and I think the other team that I'm looking at is Infantry. Nice observers, you're reading my mind. I'm curious because they are going to, looks like they're going to try to regroup up at this church. Great position in this circle. Ooh. I think the highest or second highest point. Oh, Africa, yep, they're getting completely run into by La Vega. Dowan's already out. EJ avoids damage somehow from Kali. Now there's some more damage coming from Hansia into Kali. Here comes the rest of La Vega for reinforcements. Hansia is going to find Kali. He is surely going to go down. The reinforcements for Africa here as well. Zenith might have rolled into a death trap as La Vega getting torn apart early on here in game number 1.
EJ has, in fact, found the knock onto Zenith, and now La Vega is down 3 members, just a single player alive for La Vega. And I think EJ barely dodged from getting ran over as he just jumped into the door of that little concrete compound. And luckily, Afrika was being able to take the kills there. Now, Soheon Prince taking a little bit of beat down from Lulu, always from far. Looks like the player inside of it is going to be Nan, and he might be in trouble. Rest of Soheon Prince is pulling up, but Nifix gets caught off in the vehicle. Nan finds a good headshot, and now Lilgos has pulled over, and now Soheon Prince is in trouble.
Well, they got to take this fight. Maxora gets a nice knock from range onto Nan. Kim Go-ni and Raining providing the front line fire for them. Over to Entis, over towards Chumacera. They might be scuffling a bit with TSG as they're going to be coming out the east side of Chumacera, trying to edge closer to the middle of this circle if they can so help it. And you can see Infantry there holding down that church. My real interest with infantry, as Soleil One Prince is getting torn apart by champion of competition there. My real interest, I say that and Raining gets a knock. My real interest with infantry is how well they're going to be able to play off this power position right now. But if they have to move down that hill, it gets weird. But they do have a lot of information to go from. So Raining bench is in a bit of trouble, it looks like.
Raining is holding on to a nade. He's going to pop that. That's going to land right next to XS. Finds a knock, opening things up and evening things out. Mexora is on top of the hill, but right behind him is going to be 4 a.m. Little Ghost is going to get knocked out, and Mexora is in world of trouble. He's inside of smoke, but what can he do? Little Ghost got wiped out in the meantime. Mexora has to hold the line. There's 3 members for him right behind him. It opens up, almost finding one, but 4, but it's just too good. Looks right in the face, and now Nan pushing out towards Raining. Now that's going to be Soleil Prince out. In the meantime, Juanita was benched, I feel like, but it's his birthday today. So happy birthday, but your team's down. Done.
I'm a little interested to know. We haven't heard what happened, why Nefiex was swapped out for Juanita. Not sure what's going on there. But Soleil One Prince not able to do well in that fight. It took too long. 4 a.m. gets there. I think 4 a.m. should crash down on top of COC, personally. If they've been watching that kill feed, which I assume they should, they're a very talented team, a very smart team that they should know that they have an odd man advantage there, or if they're not going to, try and get deeper in towards Chumacera if they can, because the circle is shifting to the east even harder. So they've been stalled up on the western side of the circle as 4 a.m., and now they might pay a bit for it as the circle hard shifts away, and they might not be in a good position. I don't know where their vehicles are, because I saw them coming to that compound on foot, but it looks like I think they do have some vehicles left.
Speaking of rotations, T1 is going to be able to find themselves a nice center position. That spread, 2-2 spread, is going to work out finally. Tiamba, despite losing Lorena, still looks pretty strong. Z9 Max and M200, as I mentioned before, is a really strong gunning team duo as well. TSG now rotating out as well. Shandian in the vehicle. That's going to be beat up Bronco. But it's going to be fine. In the meantime, Spear finds a knock onto Small, so that's going to be still in the gunfire, losing a player as well.
So I want to point out, Bench, that this circle looks very familiar, and T1's position looks kind of familiar in it to the very first game of this event, where T1 won to kind of set the stage for all of this. The road right outside of Los Leones is where it finished. T1 having a very similar position, able to lock down that location with their Los Leones drop spot. So could be interesting to see if that plays out similarly. TSG now shooting at Sadie's. Sadie's kind of feeding a bit into TSG here. Is Yuri going to get taken down? Now there is some long-range shooting. I think, did Volleybear just shoot his teammate on accident?
I think so, too, yeah. That was right on the butt, boys. That was right on the waist as well. 911 finds a knock onto KJ. Sadie's in trouble. Zach's trying his best to get into the compound, but he's going to get spotted out, too. Shandian's going to flank around to the side, and that's going to be Zach down. Entis now pulls over. I feel like Kale found a couple bullets onto Shandian, but the rest of Entis is far away, so never mind. I take that back.
Yeah, Entis is like, nah, we're just going to shoot at this from range. We're not going to get close to them just yet. And I think that's relatively smart here from Entis. Just get inside the circle, maintain position. You can see Kale peppering down there. Triumphant Song Gaming just wipes the floor with Sadie's. Easy as you like. I don't even think they suffered a knock, did TSG there. So Sadie's continues to struggle in their very first international appearance here. They play very well in their region, but coming into this one, it has been a struggle for them, to be sure, as they're at the bottom of the leaderboards. Over to Entis is a 2-2 split, and you know, the two members, I believe that Sungjong and Kale hanging out on the edge, are going to have to come in once the circle starts forcing that issue. But for now, they're in relative safety. There's nobody super close to them.
So some way, somehow, Phase 3, every single team was able to find a location to set themselves. But starting Phase 4, it's going to get nasty for these teams to find a location, because if the circle decides to shift wherever, it's going to be taken. There's not a lot of compound in the circle, and in the meantime, COC is going to be rotating out Nan, having a hard time as he's going to be the solo survivor. This time around, it's not Logo surprising, it's Nan to snake things out. So let's see if that's going to be decent. But speaking of not being decent, this is going to be his vehicle running into a tree.
Yeah, and he's running right in the middle of infantry. This is a scary, scary spot for any player to be in. He does have enough cover. His vehicle's not going to be so fortunate. Circle shifting up to the north. So both, you know, T1 and infantry not getting a lot of benefit out of this circle. Going to be really fascinating to see how they play off of it. I assume Starlord and Rex are going to group up with Adder and Helen there, and then they'll work from that position. But that's a little bit tricky. It is pretty flat heading out from the north side of that compound. So you have a bit of time to wait, although so far they're not making any moves. I'm actually really curious about this, because somebody's going to have to crash that southern compound of T1s. I mean, they got to be aware, I would think, that there isn't enough, you know, like you mentioned it, dude, there's not enough room. There's just, wherever this circle goes, everything's already taken.
And even worse is infantry has taken both compounds, the mirror compound outside of the road. 9 and Boliang is going to be able to set up shop in the right across of Longsker as well, and that's going to be one less spot for these teams to take. So if I was any of the other teams, I wouldn't want to be crashing into infantry at all.
No.
No. Single-handedly, no.
That is the team that in this lobby, no one wants to fight if they can so help it. That is 100%. I think every team would say that would be the first team that comes to their mind when they're saying, what team do you not want to fight? Infantry has got to be number one, I think. And, of course, you know, so much of that is Longsker. Satao. Oh, poor Satao. Trying to prone, and SMG just takes advantage of it. They're going to get him out. That's one in the bag there for them. One down for Element 36. Tiamba lost one early. Still in this one, coming in towards the southwestern edge behind Nan's position. Nan's able to survive so far, but infantry does maneuver around him, I should say. No problems so far. Linshun setting up and kind of hearing and watching 4 a.m. What's Nan going to be able to do off of this?
If Nan is able to find a spray down there, you go. That could be an easy flush as old Tiamba suffers from yet another loss. And looks like Tiamba might just be able to push over Nan and kind of take the revenge and take the spot as well. In the meantime, on the side of the screen is going to be Sun Sister finding a couple knocks onto 4 a.m. pick. Not forever. Down. Done. Easy. Some way, somehow, they are caught inside of the middle of the hill. And speaking of desperacy, Lou's going to get caught off. Clean headshots from FaZe. So FaZe playing really well, too. I thought it was Poli to do the job, but apparently it's FaZe that pops off, too.
Well, there is a lot of talent on this Sun Sister team. I mean, Crazy Sam, he's been great as a play caller. He leads them consistently to victories in their region. Polly's going to finish off Waste, and down goes 4 a.m. There's a lot of talent on Sun Sister. It's just going to take, I think, a little bit more time, a little bit more study to really start consistently performing at international events, and I look forward to it because I think it will happen someday. But for now, they continue to struggle a bit, but they've gotten better. And Zhao Yang spraying down at Z9 Max. Z9 pretty low on health, but so far he's able to get through there. He's going to have to cross the road now, and a bunch of teams are taking shots at him. It's not just infantry. I think he lost a tire, and it is going to be Hansia from Afrika that's going to get the knock and the finish onto him. Now it is M200 trying to salvage something. There's a dip, but there's an angle here for Adder. I don't know if Adder can get underneath that Murado just yet, but the Murado blows up or something blows up. The Murado might blow up here soon. If I'm Adder, exactly, I saw that vehicle blow up. Hey, I can make it do that too.
But he might just want to conserve some bullets. This might turn into a long-range game. But for Tiamba, they're going to be sitting in no man's land. They are down 3 members. Only surviving is going to be a solo player. Entis now trying to get into the circle. TSG is holding right onto him. This might be Entis in a little bit of trouble. They have to find an initial knock to get into this one. But Volibear is on the overrush. Indigo gets knocked out to the blue to make things worse for Entis.
Yeah, this is a rough position for Entis. They're going to be eating blue for a bit. And TSG has that position locked down. Infantry getting a very favorable circle towards them.
Oh my god.
That is incredibly nice. That is a gift for infantry for sure. T1 going to have some work to do to get over there. Now, M200 is kind of the only player in the way. They're going to have to kind of swat the rest of these teams out as they try to work in. The real question for T1 is going to be the timing on when they have to make this move, because there is a decent spot that you could play. You see, N200 has made it work. You could get up to there into that dip, but it is going to be kind of a timing issue because I guarantee TSG, Element 36, going to be eyeing it. I don't think that Entis is long for this world, though.
Under is going to be trying to get into the circle, but 911 and EJ, Afrika from miles away is going to spot him out. So Under was able to get into the white zone, but just 2 more seconds and the blue's going to start moving. And I don't know, man. Entis is in trouble. TSG has to start moving too, and T1 too. The timing is real key, and I don't know when they're going to start sending it, but looks like T1 might just be able to take M200's spot and use that to take out a couple smokes and maybe set up shop there. I don't know.
That's a possibility. I'm really curious to see what T1's going to do. It is going to be challenging one way or another. They're on the move here. This is a big, important moment in this tournament. Entis does take a fall, and they are down in this game. Looks like their hopes may be dashed for coming through.
There you go.
There's a crate up here. There's a crate up here. Are they going for that? Star-Lord with a little bit of theatrics on his motorcycle. Helen sending it right into infantry. This could make or break this tournament. Helen breaches the doors right away. The full squad of T1 is here. Only 2 here for infantry right now. And there is TSG rolling up to the backside. Adder's going to get 1. Zhao Yang down. Can they get the flush? 9 comes down. He's going to get 1, but get flanked in return. It is just Helen left now for T1. Infantry with such a strong defense. Bullying coming around the side, and Helen inside just waiting, holding on for dear life. Infantry holds fast.
Infantry breaks T1 hard. They're going to be splitting T1 into half, and now Helen's the solo survivor. Longscare was able to find the res onto Zhaoyang. TSG, in the meantime, was able to rotate into the compound that Infantry has left alone for the support. And now, Infantry looks pretty damn strong right now. 3-0 if they're able to find the res back onto Boliang as well. Boliang is going to curl into the one shack as well, and Helen's going to find himself a nice little location to conserve on the time. But right now, things doesn't look too great for T1.
Yeah, I question the idea to send that many on the, that's the eastern side of that compound, I believe, is where there were 3 members of T1 who all got kind of sandwiched together, and that led to them getting knocked down with relative ease. 9 making a great play.
Nan?
Coming down there. Nan, come on, you got to do that. There you are, buddy. That's an easy point for Nan, and that's going to be worrisome for TSG, as it is, I think Infantry is going to be able to get 3 up and going again. TSG didn't try to take advantage of that fight, and I kind of wonder if maybe they should have. I mean, the safer play, you know, the less risk-averse play. Helen, no, cannot do it, cannot control his spray. And that's going to be T1 going out in 9th place. No placement points for them even. And I think only 1 or 2 kills in there. So that is not the start that T1 wanted. Maybe no kills for T1, excuse me. They cannot start out with a donut, and then especially throwing those kills into Infantry is not good.
And the circle is favoring Infantry. Although they're not at the center anymore, they can easily gatekeep TSG from moving in. And that could be a couple more kill points being added to the backpack of Infantry. And now, the kill points are the real critical issue here. T1 is lacking behind in terms of kill points, and now Infantry is able to chase right behind them, right by the neck, and the kill point difference might just do it for Infantry.
Oh, for sure. No doubt about it. That's what Infantry is known for, and typically a team that puts up a ton of kills is going to have a better chance over the team that does not, and that's what Infantry specializes in. And for now, they're in another decent spot, although they're going to have TSG coming up behind them, but TSG only 2 members left, so it's going to take quite a miracle, I think, for them to break through this wall that is this Infantry team. Maybe they'll get a little help from M200 or some of these other teams. Here comes that smoke wall from TSG, and Infantry's going to set up for the defense.
Couple smokes now. Smoke screens being put out from TSG, but Zhaoyang has a pretty good idea that they're going to start sending it. So he's going to pop out a couple of nades. But right now, TSG not really wanting to go on foot. Looks like they're going to hop on their vehicles. 7 teams, 18 players. Phase 6, just about a minute, 20 seconds. Now TSG Volibear is going to start sending it. Lonsker's right on the watch. Boliang spraying down as well. The motorcycle quite dangerous. That's going to be 911 running Volibear over to make things worse. And now Infantry's pushing right into it. 911 gets caught off by Lonsker. And now that's going to be TSG out. And Infantry picks up even more kill points. And that's going to put T1 down on their shoulders and knees. And that doesn't look too good right now.
No, that's the pressure getting to TSG. That is... That's a little unfortunate there. You can't have mistakes like that when you're competing for a championship, and maybe that's a little bit of TSG's kind of newness to these big international events showing, and somehow, some way, M200's Murado is still alive. I really think Adder should have blown this vehicle up. I really am going to go back to this and just think that if he had blown this vehicle up, then maybe they get a kill off of that, and maybe they feel like they could take that position. Because for now, M200's still alive, although if this grenade is anywhere near him, it isn't. It's way short, but he's in trouble. Hansia's coming down the edge. He's already very hurt. Hansia with a good spray, or excuse me, Roa, not Hansia. Roa there, gonna take down M200, but now Roa exposing himself to Infantry's Zhaoyang, peppering him down just a bit, and he's greedy there. Yeah, it's that's a little interesting here, but he's okay for now. He's got the Bronco to work with.
I don't know, man. He was able to take the kill, but that was a little too greedy from Roja. Now he loses the vehicle, and he has to spend the smokes that is needed in the late game situation. And in the meantime, the circle is going to be donating right on top of Infantry once again, so they can just linger around there forever. And now Sun Sister has to come to the circle, and in the rotation, Infantry could take shots at them again, once again, maybe finding a knock as well.
Oh, yeah. This is... If I'm the rest of the teams in this lobby, I am super scared about Infantry right now. Even with only 3 up, these guys are absolutely nuts. VLG has 3 up coming into this late game situation. They did get either Lambu or Spear, somebody up there into the middle. It's Lambu up in front. So he's got the middle position. He's going to be holding that down. Spear manages to get a knock onto Faye in the background. And like you mentioned, a lot of smokes having to be used here by Roa. I mean, yeah, they got the kill point onto M200, but it is kind of a weird position to be in for now. A lot of teams have angles kind of down into it. So you're going to have to push forward up into the dip to get to the edge of it. That's going to be a little bit safer for you where Shadow is heading to. VLG makes their maneuver into the center of the circle, so setting themselves up with very good position. Sun Sister's turn to make the smoke wall.
Minute 14 seconds away, and looks like they might just be able to use the tip of this road. I think that's included in the circle, so they might just be able to take out a couple smokes and set up shop for the next phase 8. But right now, they're going to be sending it in a clown car. It looks like, no, they're just going to send 2. Deva is going to find Baole. That's going to be SMG out. Only 4 teams in this lobby, and Infantry, although they are member down, they look so strong. They're so dangerous right now.
Yeah, the funny thing is a lot of these teams are getting pretty heavy into the center of this. Crazy Sam takes a whole bunch of damage. So does Kendes. Kendes is going to be knocked by a grenade from Deva up and over. Going to look for the finish, and that is going to be the last frag grenade out of him. It rolls a bit too far, it looks like, to do any more damage to the Sun Sister team. Faye holding down the line on the right-hand side of Lambu. If he comes through there, heal is up for him. And now another grenade going to come through. That one's bouncing a bit too far to do critical damage, but does a bit. Lambu really wants this. Lambu's taking a bunch of damage for this, though. Shadow came up over the hill. He's hearing this fighting. He has a good position to come up and put some damage into the backs of VLG, and that's going to turn their attention away for a bit.
And you know what's worse is this is going to open up the gate for Infantry coming. Deva comes in huge, finds 2, knocks into Crazy Sam. Kendesu even wipes one out. That's going to leave just a member left, and Faye is going to get knocked out as well, so VLG looks so strong. But Infantry can now start moving in, put their foots into the steps.
Yeah, they might be able to. The problem is for them is there's Afrika that's up on the hill just peppering down on top of them. They hear all these shots. Longsker comes in now, takes some damage. Afrika just holding the eastern side of this circle as it does shift a bit towards them. So they're getting a bit of circle favor here. If Hansia can get that to land, that could be really good right next to Longsker, but he had gotten the first aid off in time to survive it. But look at that, no helmet here for Longsker. That is not good for the top player in China, as he's going to back up and continue to have heals, and Hansia continues to just lob these long-range ones. Finally, Longsker able to maneuver himself out of range of the throwing arm of Hansia, and the reinforcements for Infantry have arrived.
Nice, very nice rotation from Infantry. And Longsker, although they suffer from a couple damages and knocks, not knocks, but like losing a helmet, so to speak, and losing a helmet is quite crucial in the late game. Any bullet will do dirty to him. Sun Sister gets wiped out by Deva. Now, that will be VLG putting Sun Sister out from the lobby, and now it's down to 3 teams. Afrika 4 strong, but right now, they are on the edge of the circle, and they have to start moving into the center, as this is going to be Phase 8 and about to be Phase 9.
Yep, it is getting ready for that time. It's going to come down to right in between all 3 of these teams. And so nobody having, like, in terms of just the center of the circle, control over it necessarily. It's kind of right around where that tree is, just in front of Infantry here. And that's going to be a good spray from Shadow, or Hansia. Going to get Zhao Ying. Shadow just spraying into the smoke, seeing if he could pick up Bullying. Catches the foot of Bullying there, I think. Getting a little bit of damage, but he's getting low on 7-6, so he's got to be a little bit careful with these sprays. Some return fire grenades coming out from Bullying. A little bit of desperation here from Infantry as they're getting very pinned down by Afrika. Hansia continues to do work. That grenade exploding right in front of him. Longsker's Molly now gets to Hansia. That's going to force Hansia back. He's just going to not be able to get the heal off in time, so he's knocked. Deva comes up to the backside of Afrika here. VLG playing spoiler potentially for Afrika Freaks.
All right, flashes being thrown out. Bolien gets wiped out. Longsker has another flashback to stop the push from Afrika. Roa is up from the front. Shadow trying to take the res onto Roa, but the nade is too good. Right on the money is going to be Longsker bleeding. Hansia out from the game. Another nade from Zhao Yang destroys Afrika. Deva comes from behind now. Afrika's in trouble. They're getting double teamed, and VLG is about to take another kill, and that'll be Afrika out. VLG and Infantry. Longsker going for the spray down. Spear down super low.
Oh boy, this could be Infantry's game. It's not looking good. VLG gets some return fire into Zhao Yang. He is extremely weak. That's going to force him back for the heals. What other throwables are left? Spear up and over with a molly of his own. Longsker on the flank, heading way to the west here. He knows this terrain so well. He knows he's got this dip to work with. This shows why Longsker is one of the best in the world. He is so smart on top of being mechanically gifted. Nice! He's going to get the knock on a Spear. Deva's able to get back behind the hill before he's finished.
All right, now it comes down to 1 versus 2. Zhao Yang's going to be right from the side. Deva's one to watch, but right now, Longsker is controlling the center of the circle as the knock onto Spear is not going to be able to be rezzed. And does Deva have the clutch in his mind and in his brain? Right now, Zhao Yang just waiting until the smoke dissipates. Deva's going to start to push into it. Looks like he hasn't been spotted out just yet. Longsker's right at the edge as well.
He's nuts, and Zhao Yang trying to outduel Deva. He's got him pinned behind this tree, but Deva with a nice spray down. Gonna get Zhao Yang. It is a 1v1. Deva versus Longsker. And who else would you want this to come down to if you're an Infantry fan? He's gonna come up and over and get the first win of the day. Infantry comes through, sets the stage for themselves and they are going to leapfrog out of T1 here at PCS2 Asia.
Infantry is going to pick up a 20-point win, and that's going to leapfrog them right on top of T1. And even worse was Longsker didn't even have a helmet, and he was able to win that 1v1 duel. That was super clutch, I would say. And now Infantry looks so super happy, and that's going to put them right on the money.
Well, they damn well should be happy. That is an incredible performance to start the day for them. Not what anybody who was trailing them wanted to see here. They're too strong. They're too good. You cannot push them. You cannot defend against them. Everything they do is on another level right now, and that's going to put them, I think, 10 points ahead of T1, if my math is correct. And goodness gracious, Longsker does it again for Infantry.
It just so happens to be Longsker to put Infantry in the lifeline. And right now, things don't look too great for T1. Their decision to crash into the compound was valid enough, I would say. I mean, there's not too much you can do in that circle, but the stars have crossed, and it just so happened to be Infantry.
I gotta disagree with you.
It had to be Infantry in that compound.
I gotta disagree with you on this. T1 did not need to crash that. They could have taken M200's position. Here's what T1 should have done. They take M200's position. They take that dip over there. Then they work to where Afrika was, because they have the ability to wrap around. There's a hill there that they can wrap around, and then they can take the Freak's position, or at least defend it. They might not win the round, but they're gonna get a lot longer into that round, and it's gonna make it. They're gonna put a lot more pressure on Infantry in this, because then, for example, TSG might have a better chance to push from behind or something like that. They kind of just fed points to Infantry, basically. Infantry only lost one off of it. So if you want my honest opinion, I think that is a huge misplay by T1, and I think that is probably the first time this tournament where I feel like I could say that. Other than that, I think they played quite well.
Now that you have fully explained what happened, I actually agree with you, and that send was probably not the best decision, although that's one of the choices that they could have made. And right now, the total leaderboard, Infantry is on the lead with 10 points, and even worse is they're going to be on the lead with 14 more kills.
Yeah, it flip-flops, and the bad news for some of these other teams is they didn't really gain a lot of ground. Triumphant Song Gaming, Tianba Esports still in it, but still pretty far out. So now it is a 10-point advantage for Infantry. Does T1 have something special in the bag? Can they catch up and retake their top spot? Guys, stay tuned. PCS2 Asia will be back shortly.
Frogman vai tentando meter bala então no Tiver, o gás taca. O Frogman tá no carro, meu Deus, o que você vai fazer?
Get into the back, TSM. On point, on time. The Dream Breakers, but my word, that is here. 1, 2, thank you.
个人全是近战场，然后但中央加强点被打了。
你看，林书也被发现，哇，一波反打，安全只剩2个人了
，2打2。
是的，但是伟神的血线会稍微低一点，永远还在这边帮队友加强。博良投掷闪光弹帮队友掩护，伟神顶出来了，一波侧身小九立功，2打1，永远被卡在这个墙角，有点尴尬。不过他是完全打赢了，1打1，单挑，赢了。
是，我觉得 GX 这一波蹲到机会要来鸠占鹊巢应该是没有问题，只要小心一下这个插地的 Sentry 所蹲点的位置。但就来看一下茂野单兵意识了，茂野单兵意识已经先摸到了近点了，收割掉的是 Apple Cat 的一整队成员中的，可以再来打 Sentry 没问题。茂野的。
哇！阿卡的！
Jadi berhasil melakukan satu pemain juga. Lemparkan bom lagi. Banyak sekali smoke. Kejar atas nampaknya. Tim From the Wizard nampaknya berhasil melakukan satu pemain. Nampaknya berhasil melakukan 5 kill. Bahkan jangan pagi. Lemparkan lagi. Yang sangat baik dilakukan juga oleh tim From the Wizard. Loe turun. Loe bakalan turun terus. Spray down.
被发现了，血魔直接被打掉，
找机会，
就把趁着这一波直接连干2个。 这个头皮位打得非常精准，与此同时 MCG 也发起了进攻，
打了3个了，
好像是跌倒的毛毛被弄跟 B 给点掉，下方成功打完之后看上方媒体上，刚 J 号这边侧挡没有掌握住，但没关系打。
哇，继续拿到人都是又绕到一个后脑，哇！ 这边的走位都是很精锐的，这边的部分已经听到对手进来的枪声，马上 reload 完以后，再一波闪射的出枪都是用秒的，有带到。
Game number 1 goes to Infantry here on the final day of PCS2 Asia. What a bang they come out with to start this one. They go ahead of T1 by 10 points, putting up a 20-point match as T1 had 0 points themselves. Not the start that T1 is looking for, and they're going to be questioning that send into that compound, I think, in many different aspects of it. Going forward into this next one, guys, Paper Thin and Bench here again, as Infantry looks to really put their foots down, take over this final day, and it would not be surprising. And who else but Longsker comes through for them once again.
I thought VLG almost had it, but looks like Longsker is just too good and too damn good. And now that's going to be a win for Infantry, 20-point win, and that's going to put them on the top of T1 for 10 points away. And T1, like I've mentioned before, the break, it's very questionable on the send onto the compound. Obviously, they could have taken the spot of M200, or if not, they could have went straight into Sun Sister's side, like just crossing the full circle into half.
Yeah, that's definitely an option for them. I think that's totally true. I think here a big problem was like Afrika had a good shot at this, but then did VLG just like made them pay for kind of, you know, they were a thorn in VLG's side while they were fighting Sun Sister, and then VLG came over and was like, yo bro, what you doing? We were trying to win this game, and they just completely devastated Afrika's chance. And then, you know, you open the door for Infantry when you do that, and that's all they need. They need that little bit of a window, and that's good enough for Infantry. Game number 2 coming at you here at PCS2 Asia. Day number 6, the last time we get to see Miramar here, Bench.
And the plane path is going to be heavy north as well, so it's going to be a little bit crooked as well. But for T1, I think they read the signs wrong with the pull-up sign. They thought the pull-up sign was going to be a pull-up at the compound, but apparently it was a whoop-whoop pull-up from the airplanes. That happens from the GPWSs, where if it goes close to the terrain, close to a crash, then the plane gives you that sound, and they read it wrong, and that's going to put T1 in a little bit of trouble, I would say. It's still doable, though. It's very doable. 10 points away, anything can happen. But
yeah.
Because it's Infantry on the lead, things are a little bit dire out there.
Yeah, you can't be doing this. If you're going to make this pull up onto Infantry, you got to talk about it a bit beforehand. There has to be a better plan coming into that compound, because all 3 of you on one side of it, where there is no escape, where there's, you know, there's the edge of the wall, and that's all you got to work with, and you're exposed from a couple different angles at that edge as well. You got to have a better plan if you're going to make that send. And in a way, I thought about it a little bit. In a way, I kind of like the send, because you're kind of showing that you have confidence.
Okay.
But the execution, the tactics involved in that push have to be better. If T1 is going to do those kind of things, because that's not been their MO, right, Bench? They don't do that. They don't full send it at compounds. I don't know if we've ever really seen them do that, except in a situation where the circle was so bad, so far away from them, where they were forced into a situation like that. This one, I don't think, was necessarily at that moment, at that time, a situation where they had to do that. So I think it was just a little bit of too much confidence from T1, maybe.
So the time and place is obviously off, but at the same time, you're mentioning that the execution has been off as well. Would you want to explain how they executed that crash into the compound?
Yeah, it just 3 members. So Helen gets in, and that's great. Helen establishes that beachhead. That's perfect. He gets in. He's inside the building. Fantastic. Then the rest of T1 all sticks on the eastern side, and it's nothing but a wall, just the building corner to work with, and you're outside of it. You're exposed to grenades. You're exposed to the firing angles, and then when you're trying to peek around and fire on Infantry, there's 2 of you there, and you line yourselves up, like ducks in a row, and you just get knocked down like it's it's like one of those games at a carnival.
Although the situation wasn't the perfect situation, as TSG did pull up in the backside of Infantry's compound, you really can't crash in all 4s, but at the same time, having 3 members in a single line is probably not the best dedicated tactics in that kind of situation. Could have been the case that if they went for a 2-2,
just get in the building.
Yeah,
just get in the building. You already had Helen in there. Just get in the buildings and fight it in there. I think you have a better chance that way if you're going to do it. So,
if it's inside the building, it's 1-on-1.
Yeah, right, exactly. Infantry was still really split up at that point. So yeah, I think absolutely there's a chance. But whatever. That's previous game. On to this game. Circle's gross. It is way up in the northeast, right around El Azahar, where Entis is. It has the islands in it. It shouldn't shift that way. The islands are pretty far down out of it, so it's pretty unlikely that there'll be anything to be a part of this. But this could end up somewhere towards the coast. I mean, it's a pretty decent shift over that direction.
And another island finish could be is still in the story.
Not likely, but
if you guys check out my tour, I've had one of those games where it landed on my island, where it landed right on the island, and if the circle decides to go south a bit, then the island circles are still in the talk. It could be a 5% chance, but things will get nasty, and it's gonna be the final day of this tournament as well. And I don't know, man. If that happens, I'll cry.
It would provide quite an interesting storyline if that does happen, but I don't think so. It would be really interesting since Infantry drops Impala, how far away from Impala they move in this circle, where they go to. I'm watching the map a bit, and I can see Entis setting up kind of a 2-2 split, a wide split on the very eastern road. So I think, we'll see how far up ahead. Longsker looks like he's going to be the one leading the way up for their northern rotation for infantry, as the rest of them kind of trailing a bit behind, finishing up their looting paths. And there you can see Entus making their split. TSG has moved in. La Vega's coming in towards the outer rim of El Azahar. Afrika's already in there. T1's got Star-Lord, who dropped up there, actually. He came up there right away to get them to that La Bendita house, that southeastern house that's so good if the circle does hard shift towards La Bendita.
This circle, we've seen T1 win one of those. I think it was Adder and Star-Lord at the top of the hills, and they were able to almost make the win. I think it was Tiamba who took the win at the end, but T1 definitely knows how to play with this kind of circle up way in the east, northeast.
In general, they've been great. I mean, their positioning has been impeccable for the most part until the last 2 games. Think about this, Bench. The last 2 games, T1 has gotten 0 points, and infantry has won both of them.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a huge swing. T1 has got to right the ship, and they got to right it now. Because right now, the wheels are coming off the bus. It's falling off the edge of a cliff. It's on fire. Everything is bad. And for infantry, everything is gravy. They've got a limousine. It's got champagne. It's looking really nice, you know. But so for Star-Lord and T1, it's time to, you know, kind of change gears, regroup mentally, and really put the pedal to the metal.
It's like you're trying to take out a piece of a cheese pizza and then the rest of the toppings fall off from the from the bread.
Yeah.
Right now you can kind of put the cheese back on the thing, but
heartbreaking. Yeah.
But if you drop it on the floor, then there's no way to recover that. So T1 has to really look forward to change their game plans to something that's more viable.
Well, they got to be a little bit better in their decision making this go around. And again, it's going to be infantry in front of them. And these two just kind of continue to butt heads with their drop locations being so close to each other on Miramar. And Adder, you can see swinging up. Curious to see where exactly he's thinking about going in this particular circle, as he is going to be the front liner this time around, just based on positioning and availability. SMG's a bit ahead of Star-Lord there. Tianba's making their late rotation up towards the southern coast, and probably going to head towards Los Leones a little bit late. COC late. Soleil One Prince late. Sun Sister late. So a lot of teams coming into this one pretty late, actually. So there is a bit of, you know, breathing room, even though a lot of this circle is water.
Basically, the quarter of the circle is water and unusable, but at the same time, the circle has potential to go anywhere. It could go up north, go down south, and even just go towards west and just make things worse. That saturation is going to be pretty heavy, and at the same time, just a little slight chance they could go island.
It's really unlikely.
I know.
Well, because of the way the circles work, there has to be a lot of the islands in the circles to start with, because they have to move away from water at certain times.
Phase 4, I believe.
Yeah, phase 4 and 6. And so when that happens, it's just, there has to be enough room for the circle to move, is the whole kind of how the math boils down. But it's neither here nor there. So infantry now, there is TSG up there. TSG, another team that needs to do something. Here's the other thing teams need to start thinking about. If you see infantry in the kill feed and you hear it, and you're one of these teams that's at the top, you might want a third party. Even though I'm not saying you should send it like what T1 did, but there's the opportunities to third party to kind of be a thorn in their side, because you cannot let them run away with it. You can't have what happened at PCS1, where they go into the final game or two and nobody contests them at all, and they just put up big points anyway and run away with the thing.
If you're close enough, you know, why not? If you're close enough to take the shots with like SLR or something, but in the meantime, Tiamba is going to be crossing vehicles with COC. Linshin might be able to stop here and take out his M4. XS might be in trouble, but right now Tiamba is going to let that one pass. XS has stopped as well, so this might be a fight breaking out between Tiamba and COC. The nade's going to land right next to Linshin. He has to relocate himself. Does a little bit of damage and has to put out the smoke. That vehicle is going to be beat up, as the Molly is going to do even more damage to it as well.
I'm a little surprised. Wow, great grenades here from XS. The rest of COC now wrapping around. XS kind of stopped on his own. The rest of COC seemed like they were going to go forward. M200 gets one. M200 looking for another. I think XS is paying the price. I think this was a bit greedy on his part, and a little unfortunate for Tianba that they aren't able to weather the storm and collect themselves to defend their teammate. But it is going to be them losing Lin Shun very early once again.
Well, it looks like the rest of COC might be looking to set up a trap here. It looks like nobody's really moving out from it just yet. I don't know what's the decision going to be, but we're going to be able to see Sun Sister on the way up north trying to rotate into the circle. Tiamba got into the vehicle. It started rolling up as well. COC looks like they might just want to set up shop here. It looks like they want to take this fight on for sure.
Well, this is the MO of a lot of these teams from China, that once the fight starts, they're just going to fight it to the bitter end. They don't care. I think both of these teams should have backed off after they both lost one, but they can't. Tianba can't. The COC is actually going for the res onto XS. This is insane.
Wow.
This grenade, if it's on the money, is going to be really, really good. It bounces just a bit too far. Not going to be on the correct side of the compound. And Lulu always going to get the knocks onto Z9. Z9 down and out. Another pickup here for COC, and they're able to get back to their teammate. Wow. I am impressed. I thought XS was down and out.
Looks like the comrade ship and another nade from Nan. So these nades from Chinese competition, champions of competition is quite accurate.
Yeah, they're really, really good right now. The throwables being very good in general for a lot of these teams here in Asia. We see them just get these grenades right on the money quite often. So there's another one. Now Lurena, only one left for Tianba, and this is kind of their tournament life on the line. He needs to get some points to keep them within spitting distance of infantry, because otherwise, when you move over to Erangel, if you're 30-plus points behind, that's bad. That's really hard to do in 2 games. Here he comes on the backside. He's going to get a lot of damage, but able to get away just enough. For now is COC. He doesn't get the vault up that rock, so he isn't able to find another angle just yet. I think COC might be able to just get out of here.
Looks like they were able to run away for free without losing any members, and Tianba's going to suffer from 3 losses. This time around, it's Lurena who died early on to be the lone survivor for Tianba. TSG is going to be waiting at the compound. You do see infantry right next to them on the vehicles, and looks like Indigo might be able to spot out Zach here if he climbs up the hill a little bit more, and Sadie's. No, man, this is problematic. Zach doesn't know where Indigo is at, and if he opens up in the right time, and in the meantime, Under even finds a couple bullets right at the money, Indigo finds a good spray down.
Yeah, it's good, efficient communication and maneuvering here from Entis to pick up that point. Under there, pushing Zach into Indigo, and then Indigo has an easy spray to take down Zach. Once again, Sadie's having a difficult time in these early rotations, getting caught out once again, and that's going to be Indigo taking his point, saying thank you very much, and moving along. Infantry, in the meantime, has a pretty big 2-2 spread, but neither them nor TSG is really interested in leaving their locations. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, TSG has a nice compound, and there's a dip there for infantry in the middle of those kind of smallish hills. T1 is a huge split. I mean, just huge. And I'm a little worried for T1 because there's still COC and Tianba coming in the very late back end of this. How is T1 going to regroup with, a couple of these teams and players coming in so late?
And the compounds that they are holding on to isn't too great in terms of defense. If you are a solo player, most of these buildings, except the U-House, is going to be a single-story building, and it's easy to be shot at. So the defense, it comes to a real question now. COC is on the move, so is Tianba. Lurena on a motorbike as well. Starlord is holding on to the edge of the rocks, and you can see right at the map, Lilgos is pulling up right next to Starlord. He's going to have to run away or open up because COC has stopped right next to him.
Yeah, that's what Starlord's doing. I think this is very wise. There's no reason to get in a fight this early with, a couple members of COC. You're going to be outgunned potentially there. No reason to fight that just yet. Meanwhile, infantry dead center of the circle once again. Lurena cutting across, and he's going to have to hold up inside of this dip. Not much else available for him if he goes any further. He's going to come across TSG's sight lines. That's not good. Now Helen all alone here. He's got to get moving. He's got to get moving fast. That Bronco doesn't have the best acceleration, but he might have just gotten out in time. COC going to take a few shots, pepper a bit into him. Gets a little bit of damage, but it looks like Helen should be A-okay.
Rex and Adder might look to join up with Starlord and Helen as well, because the circle doesn't look too great. It's going to move to phase 4 in 8 seconds, and wherever it shifts, it's not going to be in favor of T1, as they are going to be on the edge of this current circle. And right now, it's going to be Sadie's on the run. Right pull up by Amonot, finds a knock. That's going to be a nice, easy flush as well. KJ in trouble. On top is Satao, and that's going to be a clean flush. Satao comes from the side. That Sadie's is done. They are done at 16th.
Yeah, 2 rounds in a row. It feels like Sadie's might be a little tilted here. They just keep finding bad position after bad position, and it doesn't seem like they're getting anything out of it. And their Miramar is over for the tournament for Sadie's. in not the fashion I'm sure they would like. Over to T1, Star-Lord went way over to the coast. This isn't terrible. Working from the coast in this side of Miramar, pretty effective. There's quite a bit of terrain and kind of things you can work with. So, and if you move up towards that hill, if the circle shifts up towards that hill where Sun Sister and Element 36 is, not likely, but if it happens, you can come up underneath that hill pretty quickly. I'd probably cut off most of the teams getting there, except maybe Entis, who's kind of shifted that way. But for now, the big problem for T1 is that Adder and Rex are completely cut off by COC from Helen and Star-Lord.
I don't know. And now Sophia might be in trouble. Vape comes up the top, gets caught off. Crazy Sam finds a couple good spray downs. Sophia finds the flush there. Kadesu takes out a flashbang. I don't know. That might give enough time for Sophia to rotate away. But Crazy Sam's going to be on the push. And now Sophia does even more damage. Goes for the reload. Flashbang's going to blind himself. And that is not going to be good for Sun Sister.
That was a pretty quick flash out of Crazy Sam, though. I gotta appreciate the almost a flick with that stun. Now Star-Lord hears this fighting. He wants to try to come over and get involved. He's got to be a little bit careful, though. It's wise. He didn't land much, and he knows that if he sticks around too long, he is going to get shot at himself. So he pokes a bit and then realizes that there's not much to be gained out of that if he sticks around. Plus, his vehicle's a bit far away. So he is going to go head back to that motorcycle, get it standing up, and readjust a little bit, maybe see if he can go back and find a kill.
Probably a wise plan to just move back and go for the vehicle as the circle is going to show itself to us in the next second. It's going to shift right on top of Junkyard. Heavy Western shift, and doesn't look too good for T1 as they're both compounds they're controlling. This is going to be outside of it.
Well, if T1 is smart, what I think Rex is doing is checking to see how much of that northern part of Impala is open. If there's anybody in there to kind of guide Helen and Star-Lord back to Adder, and they can work from the south. Again, the problem becomes for T1, they're going to have to potentially fight infantry eventually. This is really, really smart now from T1. This is the best situation that they have available to them, and they're taking advantage of it. So I like what I'm seeing from them in this. Even going in the blue here isn't that big of a deal. They should have plenty of heals, that this isn't the end of the world for them at all. And yeah, they should be able to regroup with their team very nicely. Good, efficient scouting, and not too bad from T1, other than I'd say the initial kind of getting separated from each other, not so good. And oops, daisies. Adder actually the one who got that knock. Rex was helping it definitely, but man, those are some filthy long-range shots.
On a moving vehicle as well. Long range plus moving vehicle. That's hard to land an Adder. Somehow, Rex somehow finds bullets into the bodies of COC. Lulu always gets knocked up by Small in the meantime. And on the side of screens, we have 4 AM fighting. And looks like the nades aren't going to be quite accurate. Rex is trying to finish off Lulu always. Let's see if he's able to. One more bullet will do the job. And he's gone.
He's dead. It is finally Rex got that one. The other one was stolen by still moving under gunfire. Lorena comes up and picks up something here for Tianba, but he's got a long way to go to get into the placement points. T1 has a long way to go as well. They are outside of this next circle, so it's going to be it's not going to be, they can get into the next circle, but it isn't going to be great as they're just going to be hanging out on the edge, most likely with SMG and infantry in front of them. Adder continues to pepper at the members of SMG up on the hill, but it is not really much connecting for them there. They got to be careful. Rex looks at Longsker. Longsker looking to potentially trade some bullets here as the circle does hit onto Rex, so Rex going to have to find a way to get down and out there. I'm assuming he's got some kind of vehicle available around him. Helen going to push forward here for T1 into the circle and kind of be the front man for now.
Rex might be in trouble. He has to come down from a very steep cliff, and that could be an issue. In the meantime, Solheim Prince found the kill and the knock and a flush onto waste. So 4AM is down a member, and the rest of Solheim Prince might just look to continue on with this fight as they have the advantage, as the rest of 4AM is going to be licking their wounds from the nades. And right now, things are going to be quiet for now. Lu finds a nice knock onto Kim Goni to open things and equalize things back up in their favor. The rest of Solheim Prince is rotating and maybe going for a flank from the side.
Oh yeah, they're coming up underneath, and a good stun there lands in front of 4AM, but Pignon gets Nefiex here. Indigo is getting Sparrow as La Vega is getting torn apart a bit as well. 4AM getting chewed apart by Maxora and Raining. Over here to Sun Sister, who's moved up to T1. This is a pretty big fight. Grenades coming up and over onto T1. Helen moving, taking some gunfire as well. Sun Sister's pulling around the side. They're going to need some help here. Adder's down and out. This is Solely One Prince does take down 4AM, but T1 falling apart once again. Star-Lord the only one left here. Sun Sister pushes right through them like a hot knife through butter, and now it is up to Star-Lord for T1. Disaster striking again here on Miramar.
Crazy Sam doesn't miss those chances when he is given and granted to shoot down 2 players. Rex and Helen down done. Longsteer takes a couple bullets from now. Sunsister is mad angry. Not angry maybe, but like they are really bloodthirsty right now.
I mean, I don't think T1 was expecting anybody to come down that hard, but Sunsister just kind of kept rapping and eventually found this angle. Star-Lord almost going down to some grenades. How is he going to get it? Is that one going to get him? Yes,
no.
Indeed. Star-Lord goes down, out again with only 1 point this time around. I think there was only 1 kill there for T1. The door opens even wider now for Infantry. They're on the southeastern part of the circle, and it looks like they might be squaring off against Entis next.
Under is going to push up a little bit closer to the faces of Infantry. Bullying is waiting on the watch as well. He might be the harbinger here to give out some notices if they spot out players. Nine with a good spray down is going to find Under. Easy flush as well. And now that's Entis down another member, and that's Under even, so it's even worse for Entis.
You can't be making moves like this without information. You moved right into 9. He had nothing to do except stand up and press the button. Under never even got a response. He never even got a shot off. There has to be better recon on this Infantry team. People need to be more aware of this, and they need to not let themselves get baited into bad situations like that, which is what Infantry just did. Under just got completely baited. Now Kale's in a horrible spot because the rest of Entis can't get to him. Longskir's fighting Sunsister in the meantime, because why not? And this is just Infantry putting on a masterclass.
Longskir takes a bunch of damage, has to back off. Bullying gets knocked out as Kale is wrapping around, but quick to react is Zhao Yang. Finds the knock, and he's about to flush the kill and take the rest back onto his teammate. And right now, it looks so darn well good for Infantry, and now Songjung is on the push, but gets knocked out by 9. Poli steals the kill in the meantime, but Entis is going to be ripped left and right. Indigo is the final survivor, and he's going to have to run away, but 9 is on the chase, gets spotted out. 9 is getting knocked out. I don't know if Indigo is going to be able to clean up. There we go, that's a clean up, but now Entis in trouble.
Yeah, Indigo making something out of nothing, and I like TSG. They should be watching this kill feed very closely. They know they need to shut Infantry down right now to open the door for themselves. Now Indigo, he is pretty in trouble. He is going to fall. Entis out in 10th place, but this should be TSG. I think TSG should full send it to Infantry and try to just bop them out of this round. They have to give themselves a big round, and they cannot allow Infantry to get any further ahead. 911, though, takes some damage from Poly from long range, so Sunsister continues to play spoiler for some of these other teams.
And because of Sunsister, Infantry was granted some time to pull the heal back up. Joey gets wiped up, but Longskir is still here. He's going to put on a smoke to cover himself from the other angle. TSG is now looking to maybe send it into Infantry, like I've mentioned, and they really need to do it if they want to take the chance to win against Infantry. T1 already knocked out. It's only Infantry on top of them. And TSG sending it right now. Molly being put out. Longskir waiting at the edge of the car. He hears the sound cues, and he's going to wait for the right time to go for the kill here. And now Bullying has been wiped out. Longskir waiting inside of smoke. He hears the footsteps.
Yeah, he's just going to be patient on this. He's going to wait for a member of TSG to make a mistake, although he's spotted out by 911 there. I think you could see him on the edge of that smoke. I think he saw the front of the gun, is my guess. Those guns actually stick out pretty far, so it's hard to tell. Infantry goes down here. Very nicely done here by TSG. Love the decision-making from them. And now they've got Sunsister trapped outside of the circle. This is really, really smart, effective, efficient play from Triumphant Song Gaming. I can't give them enough credit for that maneuver they just pulled off.
If TSG is able to make like 5-6 more kills and take the win here, then they are in the talk against T1 as well. And right now we're going to be looking at VLG moving it into the circle as well. Spear gets off, David gets off. There's Cali right at the edge of it. There's a nice, it's a really big split on La Vega, and right on top of Zenith is going to be SMG moving into him, so I don't know what La Vega was thinking. So it's going to be a little rough on their end.
Well, they're just trying to get ahead of all of this, get to the center of the circle if they can. That's all La Vega's hoping for, and maybe they can just kind of force some of these other teams into bad positions. SMG rolling up to the hill with VLG. VLG's busy looking at Afrika, so SMG might be able to catch VLG's backside without much, return fire or response there. Lambu's holding that backside, although Lambu's keened onto it. Not good enough, though. Didn't matter. Mad 98, too fast, too good. Lambutan out quickly here as it is kicking off between VLG and Afrika. There was a knock, but this is the problem for VLG. Now they have completely exposed their backside and given up the high ground to SMG. Deva, that grenade over his head. Still a sliver of health. A smoke in front of him now. He's switching back over to his barrel. He's going to move up to the smoke, and they're going to be very aware of that. Grenades coming out, trying to force him out, flush him out of that smoke. So SMG can potentially eliminate him. Indeed, they do. VRL Ghibli down in 8th place.
And now Zenith in the hut could be in trouble. Sun Sister in front of him and SMG right behind them. Zenith is just going to prone down and not even make a single breathing sound, as that will be a very dangerous moment as two teams could easily push right into him. TSG, after wiping out infantry, is going to be going for a little big split at the very eastern edge. It looks like they might look to just clean out the map here and aggress into the center circle.
This is TSG's game to win. They've cleaned out the most difficult teams in this circle, and now they have the center of it kind of to themselves. That's going to be Sun Sister coming up against SMG. They're in a world of trouble. Polly from the backside getting shot at now. Polly going to go down to Peng from TSG. TSG doing a fantastic job here. This could very well be their game if they continue on this hot streak. SMG, in the meantime, is wrecking on the west side. 11 kills here for SMG. You're absolutely right. This is a wonderful performance as they just roll up the hill and roll up VLG in Africa.
Look at the control TSG have. Wherever the circle goes there, they can easily get the kills and get themselves inside a circle. 9-1 in the fight. Looks like he's quite accurate, is able to put Ballet down to a lower HP, but the nades are going to fall off a little short. That actually was very close and does even more damage to him. That bounce.
That was a smoke that got thrown by him there. I thought that was a frag for a second. It wasn't. There you go, Lou. Able to get the handle onto that spray. Comes up and over, looking to put some shots down. Nice shooting here into small. 2 quick knocks. Could it be 3 here for Lou? Head pops up over for his opponent. Doesn't really get the shots now. He had to reload and he gets the hip fire. Excellent shooting there from Lou. Very, very nice as he is keeping things alive for 4 a.m. in this round.
But TSG is 4 up and rest of the teams in this lobby is a single snake. Lorena is going to be waiting at the dip. Shandian's going to be pushing up, but 9-1-1 is quick to spot him out, and 1 snake down, 2 more snakes to go for TSG to take this win.
It's their game now, although Lou's playing a bit of spoiler here. Really good shooting. Gets Shandian down pretty quick. Gonna go for that frag, go for the flush and the finish. Now up on the backside is Zenith, though. Lou gonna sit down after an impressive performance from him to pick up quite a few points here at 4 a.m. But now it is up to the solo man, Zenith from La Vega. He's insane. He is the top fragger for La Vega, no doubt, but it is gonna be TSG with 4 strong, I think, coming up here soon. Volibear is encroaching on the side. He's gonna have to win this 1v1 first. Volibear on his side. Volibear is going to get it. It is going to be Triumphant Song Gaming taking the second game of the day. And we talked about this. Miramar had to be their match if they're going to come through it. And they're able to put up some big points and gain a ton of ground on T1 and Infantry.
And right now, I believe TSG is just 2 points behind from T1. And now TSG has mentioned that they are still in the talking. What a great round from TSG outside.
Oh, it was a masterclass. It was everything they needed to do at the right times, waiting for a good opportunity to come, and third-party infantry completely removing everyone from basically the southern half of that road. And then it was just easy going from there. It was just fanning out and taking control, letting everybody else fight each other up on the west, doing all the damage, and then they are there to pick up the pieces. And another win. They continue to be an incredibly tough Miramar team.
And now T1 is in a world of trouble. 2 big zeros in the first 2 games of the final day. They only have 2 more Erangels to go, and now they have to really start putting up the points, and hopefully things will be changed up as it's going to be a map change. And when it comes to a map change, teams do tend to play a little bit better if they tend to play worse than the prior map.
Yeah, I think that's the good news if you're T1. You reset. It's like a halftime at any sporting event. You kind of can regroup and come out and change up kind of your ideas. It's a different map. It's a different game in a way, you know, because it is a different map. So coming through for Triumphant Song Gaming, 20 big points. And yeah, it's going to catch them up a lot to T1. The good news here for T1, 1 point and only 2 points for Infantry. So that means that Infantry is only going to be 11 points of T1 right now. A very makeable distance between them and the first place team. So if you're a T1 fan, stick around. They are very much going to be able to catch up here, I feel like.
4 a.m. put up some good points. So is Sun Sister on the right-hand side. T1, GEX, Ace, and Sadie's. This is going to suffer from 1 and 0s in there. So a lot of teams just putting up 3s and 4s, but that's not much of a trouble as it's the final day. And now we have to really decide and choose who's going to be the winner here.
Well, now it's a 3-horse race. I think Tianba, they're still 29 points. If they have a massive last couple rounds, I guess there's a chance. I just don't think it's likely in 2 games. It is an extremely outside chance for TSG, T1, Infantry. Those are the 3 teams I believe we're going to be talking about here. PS2 Asia, guys, the last day, the final day for this event. 2 more games to go. It is just Erangel left to find out who can take the victory. Infantry still on top, but can T1 or TSG come back? Stay tuned. We will be back shortly with more PCS2 Asia.
Yeah, he did. That was actually so
close
there. Old Pat.
Pat Caps with the tier 3 helmet.
From freaking Narnia.
No!
Oh my god, he actually gets him.
By the way, these guys need to are going. You mean on full counter?
Wow.
ได้ครับผมเป็น5กิโลได้ไปแล้วเข้ามาที่เพชรเด็ดต่อเลยปิดไม่ได้แบบนี้มีแผลแน่นอนเปิดประตูมายังไงครับผมเพชรเด็ดคนเดียวกระสุนไม่ได้รีโหลดเหลือ6นัดเปิดประตูเย็นปิดประตูโบดแล้วแจ็คลิงได้จากกุลามาด้านนอกเข้าไม่ได้ด้านในก็ไม่ให้เข้าเหมือนกันเพชรเด็ดกันไปก่อนได้จากกุลาได้ไปก่อนและเรียบร้อย
地势并不是很好，119是一个人趴在了树后等待机会啊，等一波伏击啊，他们就觉得先把
834这边又爆人，全是把握，小心1打3，再来一个1传4。
可惜反弹到他四周围。是哇，等一下这个防区同样的画面有一点déjà vu，不过这一次的结局完全不一样，茂野一扛多180。
Yeah, I mean, well, they still have a chance, but there's a lot of teams around that can actually see them. But the Molotov teams around that can actually.
ฉีกซ้ายมาเห็นโกลเด้นแคททั้งยวงสเปรย์ใส่ล่วง2โอ้เรียบร้อยฮะ
바로 붙는 게 아니라
카샤 덤보 선수 지금 매복 플레이 여기도 혼자거든요.
그건 당할 것 같은데요.
덤보 이거
알아요. 정확한 위치 알아요? 정확한 위치는 살짝 모르는 것 같기도 한데요.
It is them. It's them. It's them. It's them.
Yeah, I think it's Axel northeast of us.
After another impressive performance from Triumphant Song Gaming on Miramar, they catapult themselves up into third place, challenging T1 and Infantry for those top spots here at PCS2 Asia. Now we are over to Erangel, and get ready, because this one is anybody's game in these top three teams for sure. I guess you can't count Tianba out if they absolutely go just hog wild. Not sure I'm fully expecting it, but regardless, it has been an impressive performance here. T1 not doing well at all. 0 points. Excuse me. I think 1 point. 1 point. 0 and 1 point. Yeah. Infantry comes out, wins the first game. Only 2 points in the second, though. So the door is still open for these other teams. Triumphant Song Gaming doing everything right in that last game.
Why is this tournament so tight? We're only 2 games away from wrapping things up, and we still don't know who has the biggest chance of winning right now.
No, we have no idea. This one is nuts because it is anybody's game. It is. I wouldn't be surprised if this comes down to the very last game, because right now it is so many good teams squaring off, and you know, T1 hasn't been good today, but again, it's halftime. We're switching over to Erangel from Miramar. That's when things change for these teams. Teams that have bad starts tend to have good finishes when we change maps for whatever reason. I think it just lets you reset your brain, kind of recalibrate everything. Maybe the change of scenery, the color changes. I have no idea how it affects players' brains, but it seems to be that way. Although with Infantry, they're just good no matter where they are. So, again, I think I said at the beginning of the cast, dollars to donuts, I'm still on Infantry's favor. Even before they won that first game, I still felt like they had the best chance to come out here to win today, and they've already set themselves up to do that exact thing.
So I hope for T1 and Infantry, and then because it's halftime, I hope the locker room talks from the coaches really put some spirit into them. They really need some support in the spirit. We're going to be looking at the prior game's winner, TSG. Volibear obviously doing what he's supposed to be doing. He found that knock from miles away onto the final player some way, somehow, and was able to grant the win. And that was what TSG really needed. But right now, things are switching over to Erangel, so let's see if TSG is able to carry over the performance into the grassy lands of Erangel.
Yeah, it is. Miramar has been their maps, but we've seen them get a win here on Erangel in PCS2. So for Triumphant Song Gaming, don't count them out at all. And I mean, it would be such a story to tell for them if they're able to come up here. They've been great in China for quite some time. They've been really impressing me when I've seen them in their region, but they've been one of those teams that just can't seem to break through to the larger competitions. You know, and they finally get a chance here, and they're making the most of it. And I'm really happy to see them doing well, because like, these guys are so strong all around. 911 has been great for them. We saw Pang doing stuff. We've seen Volibear doing stuff. Sean Dion is a great support guy. I love what that team brings to the table, especially on Miramar. They're so smart. Moving over to Erangel, though, I feel like this is T1's opportunity. This is their best map, at least in Korea. This has been their best map by far. This is their opportunity to come through and take a championship for their organization for the first time in PUBG history for them. It is over to Erangel. We are in 2 more games here to go, and then we will crown a champion here at PCS2 Asia.
The plane is up in the air, and match number 3 of the final day begins right here, right now. And looks like the plane path is going to be quite decent, so there is nothing to blame for T1 or Infantry or TSG. You guys can go to wherever you want, and you guys can take whatever you want. And the plane is nothing to be blamed of now.
Absolutely not. And I think no hot drops needed yet. But I'm telling you what.
Here we go.
Well, we know what's happening to start. So those of you that love this opening fight, 4 a.m. versus VLG, guys, we're going to get it going. Don't worry. You're not.
It's always there.
They've got it for you. Get ready, because of course it's going to happen. But I think going into next game, I think if T1 is still about the same amount of points behind Infantry, I think they should definitely consider going for a hot drop potentially.
All right, but speaking of hot drops, it is going to be 4 a.m. and VLG heading once again to apartments. Let's see who has the better chance of getting a gun. Here we go. The fight breaks out. Round 1. Ding, ding, ding. Who's got the gun? Looks like there's a pump from Hikari. That's going to be a jump, and he's going to follow him down. That's going to be a clean knock as well. How is VLG doing this? They even found the knock onto Forever as well, and now 4 a.m. down 2 members. Can they wipe this one out? But last time around, we saw 4 a.m. kind of making things happen. Pignon has came out with a double barrel. Hikari down and done, and now it's down to 2 versus 3 for 4 a.m.
I mean, what a move there by Hikari. In the air, pump shotgun on the head of the 4 a.m. members. Now they have shotguns down the stairs. It is the barrel here for Spear, but only 1 clip inside of it. Pignon and Lou, the only ones left, and the thing about Spear is he's got to have it in his head that underneath the stairs last time was Lou with the Bison, so he's, I think, very afraid to come down those stairs this time around.
So what's really smart this time around is Lou knows that. They're going to check it under the stairs. So this time around, he's going to be inside the rooms, not under the stairs. So let's see if that's going to be able to be played out in a smart sense. Now VLG starts to send it down the stairs. Lou made a little bit of sound, so that could have been caught here now. VLG has gathered up. The man in the front should be the shotgun, as Spear is going to be waiting until his teammates finish farming up. Deva has a pump still, so let's see if that comes into the play neatly. But these 2 double barrels from 4 a.m. is going to be so dangerous in up close range.
Yeah, it is a really fun gun to use, close range for sure. It's pretty funny because the Koreans do really like the shotguns in close range situations. Ooh. You see the S12K a lot in events like this. Now they're going to go. They've got a Bison of their own this time. There is some pretty good armor here for their front member potentially. Let's see if they want to do that, though. I think they should save Lambu maybe for second, but he's going to go forward. He does have the helmet at least, so they're going to bank on him being able to soak up a bit more damage. That's going to be Pignon peacing out. He wants no part of this.
What?
Lou gets 1. Lou's got another. Can he get the 3rd? No! But it comes over and it's Pignon, and he's going to finish the job. 4 a.m. continues to dominate the apartments here at PCS2 Asia.
Ring the gong as 4 a.m. takes the win against VLG in departments once again. But Jesus Christ, this fight just continues endlessly till the eternity.
I mean, how many times are we going to watch this battle? Save yourself.
Savior? What are you doing? You don't want to be in here. This is the worst choice you're probably going to make in this entire tournament. You don't want to be running into these 2 bloodthirst teams. Although one that get knocked out, there's Loot and Pignon still in it. And he's going to push up with a barrel. Now Gexace is sending it in. They want the kill points at 4 a.m. Pignon has spot the players out. He has the 2-ace, goes for the spray. Now has to back off as he misses those.
Oh my God. I love this from Gexace. Let's go. Let's rumble. This is a really smart idea. They know that 4 a.m. is really beat up. They're not going to have good gear. They're not going to have good utility, so you can completely catch them on the back foot. The problem is that 4 a.m. has been nuts, but Glockslock going to catch Pignon in the back. Now it is only 1 member, just Lou, and he is very, very hurt. Lou might go for some gas can shenanigans. Indeed. He is.
New challenger.
He's got the carpet. He's got the gas down. There's some utility being thrown out here by Gexace, but there's nobody home for those mollies to find, and it's all the way upstairs. And Pignon's relaying this information. Now we might see Gexace move their way up.
So after 4 a.m. takes down VLG, there is a new challenger in this room. Looks like we're going to be playing a game of Tekken or something. Jesus Christ, and now Lou, he has a molly, and he's waiting. Is that going to be able to be effectively burning out Gexace? He's waiting. He's patient. Gexace slowly clearing out rooms here and there. And now they're going to start opening up the rooms and breach in.
I'm just so looking forward to this. Do it, Lou. Do it. You see Gex Ace is being very careful about this. All right, now he's going to go for it. It gets out in the hall, so he's not able to get the gas on fire. Ooh, but he does catch a couple of them. It's spreading pretty fast there. So a little bit of damage is going to be done here to Gex Ace, but they're going to wait this out. I don't see a lot of heals in their hands when I just briefly got a glimpse of them. And Lou, of course, has 0. He does have a vest. It looks like a level 3 vest at least. So he could take maybe 2 bullets.
1 or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2 depending on what happens here. He's going to throw a stun out, buy some time, trying to see if he can catch anybody with that double barrel. Gets 1. He's going to try to go for the points. Gets 2. He's going to switch over to the shotgun. Oh, he's just not able to do it. Lock saves the day for Gex Ace. Lou almost with more heroics, but 4AM is out along with VLG. And, well, I mean, thanks, guys. I appreciate that. That was fun.
Oh man, that's like the butter on top of the pancake. If you don't have it, it's okay. But if you have it, it makes the pancake even better. And so for this match, having this fight and Gex Ace is about to pour that maple syrup on it, Jesus Christ.
Okay, what the heck has been going on in the rest of this circle? Because I have no idea. I need to regroup here. Sun Sisters up by Severny. They're going to come in late. Surprise. Tianba coming in. T1 was over by Gatka. Infantry underneath them. So nothing too crazy out of the ordinary in this circle. We've seen a lot of these, a lot of Pachinki-centered circles in PCS2 Asia. So nothing crazy going on just yet.
At least Lou was able to sneak out one more kill point for 4AM to make things a little bit better. It's like just bandaging your wounds a little bit. But in the end, Gex Ace wipes them out. But basically, Gex Ace figured out that these two teams are going to continue crashing each other, and they have counted the kills, and they realized there's only 2 members of 4AM, and they picked the right time to crash onto it, although they kind of failed in the execution. But in the end, 4AM is done, and now looking over towards Infantry, these guys are damn strong, and looks like there's a crate towards Zhao Yang as well to make things even better. He's already got the level 3 gears.
Yeah, that's just, that's just a nice gift. I don't know if he's going to take that AWM. He's popping off a few shots, I think, just to see if anybody's going to come around him. They're not gatekeeping. They're not bridge camping. COC this time, so COC is coming across the bridge, a little bit early, but they're not going to be held in by Infantry. I think Infantry learned their lesson the last go-around that that's not so smart. Afrika's battling off with Soleil 1 Prince. Max Zora's already down. It's a pretty good situation for Afrika on top of raiding. They have the numbers, but there is some crossfire here coming from Nefiex. He gets the knock on Hansia. Coming over the top is raining now. Doesn't get anything with that spray. A grenade right in the face, not really doing anything. EJ's up behind.
Wow.
Let's see if he's catching raining off guard. He does. EJ with the sneaky maneuver, but the rest of Afrika is on their knees. It is a desperate situation for them. Nefiex trying to come in, see if he can finish this off.
If Nefiex finds the right timing, and right now is probably the best timing for him, he's going to run right into this house. Looks like the res is coming through, but they're going to be down super low. Looks like they might not even be able to pull the heals off, and Under puts Nefiex down on the knee, so Entis is going to get involved, and now Soleil and Prince's dream of wiping out Afrika's completely down dusted.
Well, yeah, this is pretty interesting. Kim Goni, nowhere to be found for Soleil 1 Prince right now. You can't even see him anywhere near. You can see him because the observers give us the view of where Kim Goni is. He's out in Narnia while the rest of his team is bleeding out here. Afrika's going to get all 4 back up. Meanwhile, La Vega does finish off Gex Ace, who was beat up after their fight with 4AM. I like the idea from Gex Ace. I mean, why not pick up some points where you can get them? You know that it was a beat-up 4AM team, but over in the school, La Vega does finish this one off. La Vega, did they suffer any knocks or damage? I don't think they lost anybody in that battle, as far as I can tell.
Oh yeah, they're still 4 up, as you can see on the left side of the current screen. And looks like La Vega was able to take 2 more points, and now Nefiex should be wiped out here. No problem. Kim Goni is going to be waiting on the edge, and he might just back out of this one. He should be backing out of this one, as he probably realized that Entis is on the other end, and if those players do decide to kind of flank around to the side, then his position gets really exposed. In the meantime, the circle is going to shift right on top of the 3 houses next to North George, and this will be an interesting circle.
Yeah, we haven't gotten this one yet where it's shifted hard up to the north. Usually we're just hanging out by Pachinki to start this one out. So Tianba definitely thinking good things right now. Sun Sister has Everest open to themselves if they want to go for it. T1 going to be rotating ahead of Sadie's. They need to get up into a decent position quickly. Star-Lord leading the way as usual for T1. Infantry has a long rotation, a long edge rotation, but this team not afraid to fight from those positions. We've seen it time and time again. They work the edges better than I'd say anyone in Asia.
All right, T1, and that's going to be TSG moving into the center circle as well. And this phase 2 shouldn't be too much of a problem, as there are a lot of places that these teams could use, and whether it be a compound or a terrain, there are some places that you can kind of set up shop and just dodge bullets from the other teams shooting at you. And right now, TSG is going to be passing right under Pochenki. There's SMG, who did get off the vehicle after hearing the vehicles, but they themselves might decide to move as well, as it's going to be at the edge of the circle, and there's no chance Pochenki would be included in the circle as well.
Yeah, Pochinki's basically kind of a
done.
It's most likely not going to end up here unless we get some really crazy circle shifts towards it. But yeah, I think TSG here making a really aggressive rotation into the ruins, which can be tough. And Sun Sister, they're going to bypass Everest and set up towards the ruins, go for the church on top of the hill. And it looks like they should be able to get in there. Now, there is safety inside of the ruins, but it's if you have to come out of the ruins is where things get really dicey, because there is so much high ground around it, and then there's flat ground to the east. So it's not ideal if you have to leave it, but if the circle goes there, it's fantastic. So they do end up picking up that AWM onto 9. I was kind of wondering, they left it in the crate to start with. 9 was kind of bouncing around a bit to see if anybody was going to contest him for it. And then once he realizes he has enough time, he goes for it. It's going to be long skirt out on recon on the eastern side of the circle, heading towards Pochinki for infantry. And Longsker does it all. He's such an incredible player. We can't say enough about him. Over to M200, who has spotted out Volleybear from TSG, plinks him down a bit. The damage minimal with that SKS, and he's just going to reload and just kind of see what else is going on, as Volleybear has found a hill to prone behind.
So when it comes to Ruin Circle, the one who controls the church on top of it, that's the highest point in the current region. So if Sun Sister continues to control this church territory, then TSG might have a hard time, as on top of it, you can pretty much overlook every single thing, so they have to prone behind the wall. After Longsker scouting out far, he decided to pull up by the doghouses, and looks like he's going to scout out a little bit more at the edge, eastern edge, to see if he to find a route for his team to rotate in.
Yeah, this is smart by infantry. They're really trying to get a grasp on what is going on their quadrant of the circle, their quarter of it, their slice of the pie. And there's nobody contesting them, around there. Everybody's kind of fanned out. SMG has the northwestern side of Pochinki. La Vega has the houses in between school and Pochinki. So that's what's going to be in front of them. And if I know infantry, they're really good at getting information and then making good decisions off of it. And they'll just send it at somebody if they catch you with too few people at a compound that's in a good spot.
Indeed, for sure. And we're just 8 seconds away from seeing the next circle. Infantry is continuously slowly moving in. For infantry, they might even just try to play the edges and try to rack up the kill points, because they really need to pick up those points. And right now, I want to see where the circle has landed, because it doesn't look too great on my end. You guys need to take a look at it as well. Infantry has pulled up in the car and started rolling, as they have seen the circle. I'm not going to spoil you, so there you go. It's going to be right on top of the middle island. And
goodness.
Oh my god.
That's gross. This is a 50-50. This could end up on the north side now. It could end up on Bermuda in the middle of the river. This is absolutely gross for these teams. I mean, there is nothing good. Everybody's scrambling for position. This is going to be chaos here, Bench. I think we're going to have a couple teams go out in the next couple minutes, because there is not a lot to work with right now, particularly because this is still kind of a 50-50, even though it's more likely to go north. Speaking of, Sun Sister cutting across Tianba it's champion of competition that's up here with Tianba trying to cut across. Sun Sister already made their way through, and it is a difficult rotation for everybody. Everybody's scrambling, and nobody's in really great positions to do much about anything yet.
Because the Bermuda Island is such a lower elevation, everyone can shoot at you. And the M200 gets shot out by Poli from inside the Wizard Hut, and now Z9 Max is trying to send it. Poli going at it again, but he's going to be clipping at the wall, and looks like this one is Z9 Max just getting away for free. And the Crazy Sam...
Tire popped, I think. Crazy Sam has a decent angle. Crazy Sam gets the knock. Good shooting there by Crazy Sam. Z9 Max getting taken out here. And the woes continue for Tianba Esports. Their day all but over, as they lose a couple members in transition. Taking a late, long rotation is T1. That's smart. This is quintessential Star-Lord right here. He's going to come around to the north. He loves to work from the northern parts of these types of circles. He likes to come down from the hills, and I don't blame him. It's smart. Infantry also making a similar rotation, so not too surprising to see two of your best teams having very similar ideas here.
might as well just burn through meds after realizing that every single entrance would be gate kept inside the white circle. Might as well just go out in the blue and see if there's open ends in the northern edge. And this could be problematic for T1. Infantry is going to be the first ones to arrive into the edge compounds or at the edge of the circle, and T1 is going to be a little late in their arrival, and that could be a little issue for T1. And they're going to have to pull up. Even worse for T1 is they have to pull up and heal themselves up, so that's going to delay their rotation even more. And right now, that's just going to be phase 4 given to us in the next half a minute. And Longsker is going to continue to roll around in his vehicle. Zen is still in the game on the other side of the screen there.
Well, and this is what makes Infantry so darn good. They make decisions so quick. Even though T1 made a good decision, they had to go a lot further to get there. They had to go all the way over to the long Georgia Pole Bridge. Yeah, exactly. And so that delayed them just a bit longer than Infantry. So Infantry's able to establish a spot inside of the circle. Now, T1 has some space to work with up there still. In fact, no one's taken the compound on the very northern side. It's to the west of this compound that Infantry is in. That one's still open, actually, when I take a look at the map. But Infantry finds themselves a wonderful spot to work from. This is why Infantry continues to win events. They're so decisive. Their decision-making is just 100 IQ or 200 IQ all the time. 100 IQ wouldn't be that good. 200 IQ all the time. Way better than 100 IQ.
Adder gets knocked out to the blue, so he has to be res, but is that going to be found by Nan? Nan's going to be flanking from the side, and looks like he might just try to dip and couple bullets, but it looks like the rest of T1 is going to run away.
This is bad,
This is not good. This is actually
they have
not
no
good.
idea. They have no idea he's here.
They could be caught pants off.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Helen's in a world of trouble. Nan's heard this. I guarantee it. Yep. Helen's done. This is really bad for T1. And you can see there's still 2 of their members trying to get in through the blue. To make matters worse, I could see Afrika making a similar rotation here. So T1 in a world of trouble. Adder did end up going down. I think he just ate the blue. There just wasn't enough meds available. So I like the idea from T1, but it was just a little bit too much for them to chew. And now, yep, this is horrible for Rex, the poor guy. Tons of other players in front of him.
Even worse is the Blues are going to start moving, and he's going to have to pull up and pull a med kit off. Nan's going to spot a couple of Afrika players out. 2 knocks for him. How did he do that? Afrika gets knocked out in 12th place. Nan's going to single-handedly do it. Now Infantry is sending it to Tiamba. Linshin is going to shut out 9, but bullying is quick to react. Gets off, opens up the door, is going to be Linshin. Now he has to close it and then open it back up as that flashbang is going to blind him and push bullying backwards a little bit. Rest of Infantry, where are they at? They're starting to pull over as well, but right now, Linshin is going to be able to control this compound for now. The mate might be the one to do it, but he's going to have to go outside of it.
Yeah, he's coming through. Good dodging of that grenade. He's going to get an okay angle onto Longsker. Longsker not really pulling off any shots there. Lin Shun didn't like his situation, so he's going to bounce a grenade by the door, see if he can catch somebody hanging out outside of it. They've already gone inside and gotten the res, has Infantry. Lin Shun fighting for dear life. Comes out the side. I think he might have... I don't think that was exactly what he wanted to do there. Is he just going to take this vehicle in peace? That's what I would do, but I think he's going to stay and fight. Oh, Zhao Yang caught sleeping on the ledge of the windowsill. He is going to go down. In is Lin Shun again, but now Nine's behind him. Nine doesn't get the knock. Nine coming through, trying to circle on top of him. Doesn't get the good angle, and now it's another knock here for Lin Shun. But finally, Boliang comes through, takes him down. A lot of damage done here by one player, but that is not good for Tianba, and it is... Well, it's not good for Infantry either, to be honest with you, Bench. They suffered a lot of damage in that fight.
There's more points being fed in the hands of Infantry, and T1 on the side of the screen. Star-Lord is going to be pushing up out wide after hearing this, but I don't know, man. All 4 members of Infantry is still up. You might be able to find a couple knocks, but you're going to have to back off right away. Star-Lord is going to be the sole gatekeeper for Infantry, and he has to do it, pretty much. He has to do it if he wants to stop Infantry, but TSG in the meantime was able to find the kills onto Sadie, so now they're climbing up the leaderboard as well.
Oh, this is horrible. For some reason, SMG, well, not for some reason, it's the middle of the circle. I like what SMG is doing, but poor Star-Lord, he went for something. He's getting caught out in the open. He's trying to hold on. It's actually Indigo who takes him down from afar, so T1 out very early. And again, the door has been opened for Infantry. TSG still in this very much as well. They only have 2 members up, though, so right now, Infantry has the high ground. They have 4 members. It is not looking good for the rest of the teams in this lobby.
All right, E36 is still going to linger around the edge of the side, and 911 got knocked out by Sun Sister. Crazy Sam is continuously putting damage and trying to reduce them in numbers from just right across the river. And right now, SMG has pulled up where Star-Lord is at, and now Infantry might have to move out of it, and there you go. SMG can easily gatekeep this one, but COC is going to pull up on the side of it, so it's going to be a three teams just fighting at the edge of the circle.
Yeah, I mean, SMG has a great position to gatekeep Infantry, but then COC's potentially going to be, you know, coming in and flanking them. Nan is already up in that position. Little Ghost, I can see him driving around thinking about it as well. Now Infantry is going to have to square off against their Chinese brethren, as SMG does have a knock on a small, so they're going for the res. And TSG does pick up another point in the background, something to keep note of. Grenades now out. They have a pretty good idea, of course. Zhao Yang up and over. Lanren, that's easy money for Infantry. Now Bullying taking a bunch of damage. He's going to get knocked here. No more knocks for Infantry. That's not good, but they come around the side. Zhao Yang getting the handle on it, and that is going to be still moving under gunfire out. Will anybody from Infantry bleed out? I think they're going to be able to get all these reses, Bench.
The blue is going to move pretty slow, and it's pretty far away, so Infantry is going to be able to take the full res onto the teammates and just control the edge of the circle. In the meantime, I can see TSG is going to be rotating in. E36 is on the road, and Sunsister straight to gate with them. And if TSG is able to pound at the right time, well, if E36 doesn't look towards their way, but towards Sunsister's way, this could be more kill points being added to TSG.
Yeah, TSG has a chance. It's not good. They're on Bermuda. That's not ideal in this circle, but who knows? They've proven themselves to be kind of a scrappy, gutsy team, and I could definitely see them coming through. The real problem is the final boss is Infantry, and they have wonderful position in this circle. Now, they're going to have to fight against COC, but it seems like right now, nobody can stop them. However, a ton of knocks already in the belts of Infantry, so the longer this goes on, the worse it gets for them. Now, let's see if 9 can get something going with that AWM from afar. He's finally getting a decent chance to use it. Most of Infantry's fighting has been point blank, basically. So 9 going to flank out, but immediately knocked down by Nan. Excellent shooting with that SLR. I think that's going to be 9 out and out. You can see he's bleeding so fast.
That was like 3 knock counts already on his backpack, and I think that's either third or the 4th knock, so he's going to bleed out to death. Nan picking up another point for COC, but at what point? They're out 5th, but it looks like they might be able to try for 4th place if possible. Right now, Longsker is still continuing to scout out. In the meantime, on the side of our screen, XS was fighting La Vega, I believe. No, the Sun Sister.
Yeah, Sun Sister is going down in 7th place. Boliang runs over Zhao Yang.
Mistakes.
Oops, that's not. Ooh, that's interesting. That's an uncharacteristic mistake from Infantry, and that is going to be Zhao Yang out. Now, the point doesn't go anywhere, but already 11 kills for COC. What in the world? Oh, such a good angle here for Lulu always. You got to make those shots count. Isn't able to get to Boliang before Boliang finds an edge to park his vehicle up and under. TSG still working on the sides. It is going to be Element 36 taking down a bunch of members of COC there. La Vega's getting involved now, and TSG still has something of Bermuda left for them.
Well, now I have to start going into the water to try to even get to the next zone, but La Vega's on the watch. Cali has been continuously putting bullets into the faces of TSG, so they have to be hiding behind the terrain, but now the blue's going to start moving in 27 seconds, and that's going to be a problem for TSG to get into the next zone.
Oh, this is horrible now for TSG. It's really not good. Swimming there is doable, but not with La Vega holding the encampments on the other side. I mean, they've got the trenches, they've got the bunkers, and that's enough to really blockade TSG in completely. I really don't know what they can do. They can drive a vehicle into the river and then try to swim up and under. That's a possibility, and they could make it work. It's going to be hard, but maybe they can do it. I have hope.
We all have hopes, but that hope is about to be destroyed as Shandian's getting knocked up by Zenus, and now 911's down super low, and he has to pull the heal up. That vehicle's just rolling away.
Shandian, I think, might have even gotten in that vehicle.
Yeah, so that's going to be unfortunate for TSG 911. I don't know how many smokes he has, but he's going to have to pull out like 6 to try to even get into the water.
He doesn't have enough.
Inside the water is even worse. He's going to have to breathe every once in a while, but La Vega's going to continuously go for the mole with the hammer and put him down on the water. Infantry was able to pull up here and control this edge of the territory until we see phase 7. 911 is going to bleed out to the blue, and that's going to be TSG out of 5th. But such a great effort by TSG. They were able to rake up so many points that they are now securing themselves in 2nd spot right now.
Yeah, absolutely. This is really, really well done by TSG. They're giving themselves a shot for sure, and I think it's really wise for them to kill themselves to the blue, of course, not to give up to the points, especially if you accidentally give up to Infantry, which would be the worst thing possible. So I really, really like what TSG did in this round, and it's good. Now, Infantry has to square off against a couple different teams. COC over on the western side is going to be their first opponent. Now, it is just 2 left for Infantry, so Longsker, Bullying, squeaking out as many points as they can here is the name of the game now. Getting the win here, not as likely for them. They're in a not so great spot. They're out, they've got this edge to work with along the road, along this like dirt road, but that's about it. And, you know, moving forward, they have a little bit of opportunity, but eventually they're going to run into potentially the 4-man of La Vega or Entis. And we'll see if Entis and La Vega, you know, fight each other or not. But this one's just kind of a prolonged movement from both of these teams.
Infantry can easily just take the northern edge of this current circle, but Boliang's going to continue to put some bullets, and he has to back off as the flash is going to blind him completely. And that spray down is so accurate. Boliang tries to knock onto XS, but he has to back off. And I don't think the flush is possible. COC is in trouble as Entis is now putting bullets, and that's COC down. And Infantry is already moved up to top 3, and they're trying to get more points by placements as well.
Yeah, somebody's got to stop them. You can't let them get away with it. It is... I mean, and to be fair, TSG and T1, the two teams that really have a chance, it didn't really get a chance to meet up with Infantry in this particular game. Now, Under finding a good angle here. Really nice maneuvering from Under. He needs to lock this down. He could use a little bit of support if they can find it, but the rest of Entis is busy. He gets the knock onto Longsker. Kale gets knocked by Zenith. So Entis kind of taking on 2 fights at once, and that's a problem. Smoke's down for Infantry. Now Under going to go for those tires, make it much more difficult for Infantry to move when they do have to, because the circle does not favor them now. And it will be kind of a bit of a challenge to get through if Under can hold it down, but this is really falling apart here for Entis. They got 2 split up. You can't have Under just holding down Infantry by himself. I think they needed to just send the rest of their team up, try to hold that. I get trying to blockade La Vega in, but La Vega is just wrecking this lobby.
And now Under is a sole survivor for Entis, and I don't know how much more points he can make. Sparrow is going to be coming on the other end, toss out that Molly. That's going to be rending right on top of it, too, to make things worse. And that's going to be Infantry out. All she wrote for Infantry, but it's going to come down to Under versus the whole squad of La Vega.
All right, Under versus the world. He's done it before. We've seen a 1v3 from Under, but this time it's not going to be the case. Zenith finishes the job for La Vega. They pick up yet another win. Now, keep in mind, there's still placement points. There's still money to be had towards the bottom of these leaderboards. So these teams still going for it, and La Vega comes through with a nice win. That is a bunch of kills. That's 14 kills there.
44 points.
Wow, yeah, huge round for La Vega.
La Vega was continuously farming kills as they had the best location by the circle. Although they were being favored, it had to come down to the individual mechanics when they had to duel out a couple teams. But that will be La Vega taking the win, showing that they are in this tournament still. Although they're far away from the winning range, they are able to steal top 4 away, I believe, top 5, top 6, if possible, and get more money in the bank. Get more money in the bank.
Yeah, they're getting there. You're right. They're catching up. They're catching up. I mean, Entis is in 5th, Tianba in 4th, it looks like, and La Vega's making their way. They've had a couple good rounds here. They need to, coming into things for La Vega for the next tournament, assuming they can get to PCS 3. There's some things to shore up. Their late game is good when they have 4 up. It is getting to that position that's been a challenge for them. So just finding more ways to do that. I think taking better fights in the early game seems to be a problem for them. When they find those fights, they don't seem to win them enough. When they can get into like phase 6 without having to really fight anybody, they kind of remind me of Element Mystic a bit like this, where if they can get to the late game without taking fights, they do kind of just, for whatever reason, start to pick things up the later the game goes.
All right, Infantry was able to put up 9 points, and TSG was about to put up 8 points as well. So now it really comes down to these two teams, I would say. If T1 comes out with like 20 kills and wins a 30-point game, then that's going to be one hell of a ride, but that's like the only chance T1 has at this point, I feel like.
Yeah, T1 has to go for kills. T1, if you want my honest opinion, T1's got to set up a trap or a hot drop on Infantry. Just try to knock them out right away, get some kills, and then roll from there. Do what Infantry did on their 24-point Miramar game. Just go as a 4-man and just butt heads with everything you run into and try to win that way. That's their only hope. And they have to try it, in my opinion. I don't know if they will. They might just play a standard game. Regardless, 1 point here for T1 on the day. That is it. That is not the day you wanted to see out of T1. That is a really disappointing day out of them in so many levels. But it is, once again, Infantry stepping up, coming into the final game of PCS 2 with a lead, just like PCS 1. Triumphant Song Gaming behind them. They have a shot. It's only 13 points. Very doable for Triumphant Song Gaming. It's going to take a big round. T1 still in it, I guess. Buckle up, guys. One more game to go here at PCS 2 Asia. We'll be back. Hang on.
Frogman vai tentando meter bala então no Tiver, o Gas taca. O Frogman tá no carro, meu Deus, o que você vai fazer?
Get into the back, TSM. On point, on time. The Dream Breakers, but my word, that is here. 1, 2, thank you.
个人全是进弹场，然后但中央加强点被打了。
你看，林树也被发现，哇，一波反打，安全只剩2个人了
，2打2。
是的，但是伟神的血线会稍微低一点，永远还在这边帮队友加强。博良投掷闪光弹帮队友掩护，伟神顶出来了，一波侧身小9立功，2打1，永远被卡在这个墙角，有点尴尬。不过他是完全打赢了，1打1，赢了。
是，我觉得 GX 这一波蹲到机会要来鸠占雀巢应该是没有问题，只要小心一下这个插地的 Sentry 所蹲点的位置，但就要看一下茂野单兵意识了。茂野单兵意识已经先摸到了近点了，收割掉的是 Apple Cat 的一整队成员中的，可以再来打 Sentry 没问题。茂野的。
哇！阿卡的！ berhasil melakukan satu pemain juga lemparkan bom lagi banyak sekali smoke kejar atas nampaknya tim From the Vision nampaknya berhasil melakukan satu pemain nampaknya berhasil melakukan 5 kill bahkan jangan panik lemparkan lagi yang sangat baik dilakukan oleh tim From the Vision Loe turun Loe bakalan turun terus spray down
被发现了，血魔直接被打掉，
找机会，
就把趁着这一波接连干2个。 这个头皮位打得非常精准，与此同时 MCG 也发起了进攻，
打了3个了，
好像是跌倒的毛毛被弄 NB 给点掉，下方成功打完之后看上方媒体上，刚 J 号这边侧脑没有掌握住，但没关系打。
哇，继续拿到人都是又绕到一个后脑，哇！ 这边的走位都是很精锐的，这边的部分已经听到对手进来的枪声，马上reload完以后，再一波闪射的出枪都是用秒的，有带到。
It's time for the final game here at PCS2 Asia. Infantry leads by 13 points over Triumphant Song Gaming. Trailing behind them is T1, 20 points behind Infantry. Those three teams are the ones with any hope here to come through and potentially win PCS2 Asia. Paper Thin and Benj, we're going to bring you this last game. My voice, hopefully it holds on. I'm starting to get a little bit hoarse here because I am excited. Infantry is bringing it once again, Bench.
I'm about to lose my voice as well. We are shouting a little too much, but Infantry is looking so strong and looks like they might just be able to deliver PCS2 Asia for themselves as well, just like how they did it in PCS1 Asia.
Absolutely. It looks very, very similar. Almost identical to how they did it in PCS1. That last day on Erangel, they just come through, put up some big points. You know, today it was on Miramar. They just come through. They're too good on these last days. There's too much confidence, too much ability, too much fragging. These guys are nuts. They are on another level right now.
So let's talk about some winning conditions for T1. They are 20 points behind, and they're 20 points behind the team called Infantry. Even worse. So right now, one thing that T1 should and probably should be doing is that they should hot drop Infantry no matter what. Okay, you may just lose out for nothing, but at the same time, you're trying to grant yourself a chance to not allow Infantry to pick up more points. And at the same time, if you win the fight, if you win the battle against the Infantry, then now you can probably try to pick up a 20-point win game and maybe take the win here.
You have to go for it. Look, they have been great. They have put up some big wins. T1 put up a 17-kill win on Miramar, but they're going to have to take destiny in their own hands if they're going to win this. They're going to have to come through and just stomp Infantry. T1 is going to have to stomp Infantry out of this lobby like like they're ants on the ground. There can be nothing else. That is the only hope they have. And I'm really curious to see if that is going to be the option they choose to go for. Historically speaking, I've never seen a Korean team do it. Never, ever have I seen it when I think they should. I haven't seen it. So will today finally be that time? Infantry, of course, all smiles here for them right now. They're 13 points ahead of TSG. TSG, on the other hand, I think they can just play their game. I don't think TSG needs to be involved in this one way or another. They can't risk it in case T1 goes for it.
So if T1 hot drops Infantry by any chance, as we were talking about, then TSG could come out with a win here and then maybe try to capitalize off of the battles on these top two teams. And maybe TSG can benefit from it, but we don't know what's going to happen until the plane is up in the air and the teams decide to drop where. We don't know just yet, but right now, this looks like that T1 has to make a decision right now.
They absolutely do. Guys, buckle up. Game number 4 of the day, the last game here at PCS2 Asia is underway. Erangel to wrap things up, and we find out if Infantry can go back-to-back or if Triumphant Song Gaming or T1 can play spoiler. Decent playing path, not great if you want to go east, but for Infantry right near their home of Ferry Pier.
All right. Plane is up in the air. Infantry drops to the 12 houses in the Ferry Pier like usual. T1 actually dropped right now, but it looks like they're going to be heading upwards, so this won't be a hot drop, unfortunately. And right now, T1 is just looking to probably farm towards Gatka. They're going to play with their game plan in the books, I have to say.
Well, if T1 goes for a trap right away on Infantry, there's a hope. But the problem is Infantry's drops, they spread out. So it's really hard to set up a trap where you're going to catch maybe even 2 of Infantry inside of it. So I think it's going to be really, really difficult now for T1 to really keep Infantry at bay.
But lest we forget, there's 4 AM and VLG still fighting over apartments. That is another side tournament we're having in PCS2 Asia. They're going to go at it for the final match of the tournament once again. And let's see, it's 8-1 for 4 AM. Can VLG come top out with 8-2? They're going to drop right again. Who's got the first gun? We don't know just yet. There's a micro Uzi on 2 teams. Hey, Lou has a pistol. He's going to find the nice dog. Hikari comes from the edge, sprays down 1 player, but Pignon and Lambo's going to trade each other out. That's going to be down to 2-on-2 now.
Let's go. VSS. Auto. Ooh, Forever. That's all he's got. He gets the knock onto Lambu with it. What a grenade from Forever. That is going to be some nice work for 4 AM. But it is still VLG. They're still up, and Waste comes up and over, and it is 9-1. You can see Waste with some celebratory pump shots into the air. And VLG looks like the apartment fight this time around is not going to be in their favor.
All right, now where's Gex Ace? We need the second challenger, but this time around, Gex Ace has pulled up in Severny area, so they're going to have a fight of their own. 4 AM, congratulations to the winner of the apartments for PCS2 Asia. I don't know, man, we'll give you a mention on Twitter or something, but no trophies for you, but maybe we can send you some hot sticks and some treats from Korea, maybe?
Yeah, I'm sure they got plenty at their gaming house. I don't think there's a problem with that. I'm sure there's plenty of hot sticks available. Well, that's going to be the tournament for VLG, and frankly, it's the story of the year here for VLG and 4 AM. They make it to these big events, they fight each other, and then they end up at the bottom of the standings. It just isn't worth it. I'm going to say it again. It isn't worth it for either of them to keep doing it. I get it's really entertaining and it's really fun, and trust me, from my perspective, I like it because I get to have a lot of fun with it at the beginning of the game, and it's hilarious. But from the perspective of
a caster,
from the perspective of someone who wants one of these teams to do well, it's not good for them.
It's a tragedy written by fucking Shakespeare. Like it's not working for these two teams. And you've seen the results they put up if they are able to not fight and just have 4 players up for both of these teams. 4AM had a big game. VLG had a big game. VLG even made a win out of it if they have 4 players up. Even 3, I believe. They don't remember lost, I believe. Yeah, but it just doesn't work out like this. They coming into PCS 3, they should probably think about changing some game plans because this game plan right now is not worth it.
No, it's not. And look, yeah, VLG won the one game that they don't really fight 4AM for the apartments because 4AM had a bad drop. So if you're VLG, you got to look at this and just say, well, let's try something different next time around. This time it's 4AM's game. I mean, they're only 10 points away from each other, which is hilarious considering how much better 4AM has been in these fights. But VLG is really good on Miramar, and they're good when they're left alone on Erangel, and they need to find a different way. They need to find a different drop spot or something because they're too good of a team, in my opinion, to waste their potential fighting over this landmark on Erangel.
All right, looking over towards T1, and their winning plan must be that infantry first shouldn't be taking any kills or placement points, and T1 has to put up 10 kills and 20-point win there. And if any kills is made by infantry, then T1 has to make 1 more of that. So things don't look too bright, but there's still some dim of sunlight in there.
Yeah, I again, someone needed to get onto infantry early in this one. Either TSG or T1. Now,
oh my God,
a lot of accidents going on here on Erangel. That's another run over by SMG. But this fight kind of not super important. La Vega coming up and over Zenith. Good. That is going to be small down. Mad gets finished off here.
T1 should go on it.
Trying to pick up some stuff. What did you say?
T1 should go on the fight.
Yes, they should. I agree with you. You're absolutely right there, Bench. They should do something about this. Actually, T1 should get up on top of Everest and try to do something from up there, in my opinion. Now, they can long-range plink into this, but they're pretty hard angles to take. There's a lot of trees that are obscuring the vision. Over to Tianbo with Element 36 on the side. M200 in a world of trouble if somehow, some way, Element 36 can get a handle. They don't. Lin Shun gets Pure Boy down and out easy. Amanat, nobody able to get M200. I thought they might be able to do that.
M200 has to get off the vehicle. That explodes, so luckily M200 was able to get out from it in time. But the fight over in the side of Pochinki?
It's up at, no, it's Severny.
Wow. Severny.
That was up at Severny.
Severny. Gex Ace took out some sister somehow.
I don't know what the heck they're doing up there.
Lost Luck was able to find 2 headshots with a M24, so I hope we get to see a replay of it. But right now we don't have it right now.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it's not a super important battle to how this one's going to play out. This is pretty important to watch infantry and how they maneuver. They're going to play it safe. What infantry does when they have a lead like this is they're just gonna edge, and they're really, really good at it. They can play from anywhere, and they're just going to work their way up the south and just kind of hang out, let everybody else fight. And the interesting thing is they are going to run into T1's flank. Now, if T1 or when T1 realizes this, again, I really think T1 just has to go for it. They have to try to shut infantry down. They have to close the door on them and give themselves a chance because you got to go for the win here. You have to play for the win, in my opinion, and I would really like to see that. Or if TSG runs into them. TSG is making a late rotation along the southern coast, and if they run into the back of infantry, as soon as I see that first knock, frankly, I'm trying to just knock them out of the lobby.
If I was infantry, I would be playing super passive. Try to conserve at least 2 or 3 members till like phase 7, and then if possible, if there's at least 2 or 3 members up by that circle, then you can easily steal 1 or 2 kills. And that's going to put even more pressure and the burden on top of T1 and TSG as well. So let's see what's going to happen with these 3 teams fighting for the top for PCS2 Asia winning.
Yeah, it is interesting to see T1 just going kind of with their normal game, taking up a big split around Gatka. They got to be super careful about this. Star-Lord's alone inside of Gatka proper, and that's a tough location to bounce teams out of if you're alone. Same with Adder where he's at. It's really easy for a team to drive into that location of Adder. It's pretty hard to get long sight lines. Star-Lord, there's just too many buildings to work with. So this is an aggressive split from T1. They could probably hold on to it for the first circle. It doesn't look like anybody's super keen on trying to force the issue just yet. But I am starting already to kind of have a little bit of nervousness for T1 in this one, as bullying pushing up for infantry pretty far towards the center of the circle. There's a 2-1-1 split for infantry right now, and again, no pressure on them just yet.
Infantry's probably just going to be able to get into the center circle without having too much of a problem, as T1 wasn't able to pressure them down. And they didn't even know infantry was coming from the backside, but they should have some sort of an idea that they start at the southern edge. And obviously, infantry has to move in as well. So T1 just decided to go towards Gatka and try to take a split up there and see if they can hedge some bets for the circle. Wherever it lands, they can try to be the center of it and then maybe start from there. But at the same time, that kind of leaves infantry free.
Well, this is interesting. Infantry's on the move early. They're getting ready for wherever this next circle goes, and they're going to try to get center. And I like the idea from infantry, as long as it's not going to just try to crash something that's already taken, that's already locked down pretty solid. We'll see exactly where they're going. Longsker and 9 in the same vehicle. I mean, if somebody could blow that vehicle up, that's a big loss to infantry. I'd say arguably their two best players in terms of their fragging capabilities are in there. And there we go. Circle is going to be very, very important. This phase 2, with a bit of this circle already being water, could be interesting. And we're going to shift hard north up towards Everest. This one looking like we're going to be a mountain finish.
And that is not good for any of the teams in the top trying to go for the win, because whoever controls the mountain is going to be able to shoot out the players downwards. TSG now sending it in towards the circle. They are on the very edge, and looks like they might just be able to try to go for the compounds instead of going into the center of the mountain. And right now, things don't look too shafty for all these teams. T1 playing very patiently, infantry playing very patiently, and TSG also is going to be a little bit slow as well.
Well, okay, so T1, they got to get out of Gatka, in my opinion, and group up towards Helen and Rex. I don't think the 2-2 split, well, I mean, you can hold it for a little while and you keep infantry at bay, I suppose, but they got to be careful. Again, infantry can just crash into the southern side of Gatka basically at any point, and then maybe get lucky and pick off a member of T1. T1, if they have to leave it early or something like that, it can be a problem coming out of Gatka. So I'm still a little bit nervous for them. Infantry, I'm getting a little nervous for infantry, though, too. They're on the edge of the circle. There's a lot of teams in front of them.
So now infantry knows, because the bullets could be heard. Adder found the knock into La Vega, and infantry can tell there's T1 right in Gatka, and knowing the drop shot. Speaking of hot dropping, it's going to be 4 a.m. running into Freaka Roa, and Shadow already knocked out. Hansi's the last one to be alive and holding on to it. Waste is going to be holding on to the corner. Hansi gets knocked out. EJ's far away, trying to provide some support, but is he going to go into this one? He might just run away of it. Looks like he's going to pull up and get off, but it's going to be 2 versus 1. EJ knows that Waste is low, but EJ finds a spray down 1-on-1 now.
He gets the knock onto Waste. Good job by EJ. A little late on the help, but I guess better late than never here. Is EJ very hurt, but so is Forever. The spray coming through to finish Waste. That's a point in the bag for Afrika. Keeping themselves, it's still going to be in the bottom half for them, but they're trying to make it a respectable finish. Trying to finish on a good note if they can win against 4 a.m. Forever comes around, finishes off Roa. Puts themselves into 8th place, right on the bubble there. Soleil 1 Prince still alive. So for Soleil 1 Prince, they actually just bounced a couple members. They actually bounced Rex out of his compound along the western side of the mountain. So that's going to force a 2-2 grouping for T1 there, and at least Rex got out with his life. Forever now, still in this duel with EJ that is taking quite some time.
And that's EJ, some way, somehow, finds a clean headshot. That's going to be 4 a.m. out finally. And now Sadie's is going to be running into Element 36 to fight between the containers. Sophia finds a knock. Ukel is going to be spotted out, but he's going to be running right into Sophia. Sophia looks right into Ukel as Ukel is looking right away. Not in the right decision. Zach now is going to be running in. Satel spotted out, super low. And Amonot's going to be flanking around to the side. I like this view from our observers. This is really neat.
Yeah, this is a great view of this fight. Actually, optimal for a fight inside of the crates like this, and Zach is just bouncing around seeing if he can find members. Yuri comes through, gets some help onto him, good stun into Zach's face, but Zach with good maneuvering under duress comes around to the side and isn't really affected by that too much. Cuts across the other side. He's still splashed, but it's not going to be a push from Element 36 to capitalize it. Meanwhile, T1 starting to edge out a bit. Rex is taking some damage. It's getting worrisome for them. Sadie's does take down Element 36. Rex has got to be careful. Tianba's got that mountain position, and it's easy to make it rain from up there.
Sadie's was about to come out as a Maze Runner winner, but right now, it's T1 in a little bit of trouble. Rex was spotted out. His position has been compromised, and it looks like the bullets weren't accurate enough. But Infantry now, Longsker should be careful. There's a player from COC right next to him. He needs to come back out from it, although he takes a bunch of damages. And what? Lulu always lands a spray down, clean one, and knocks out Longsker. The nade's probably going to fall off a little bit short, though, and it looks like the rest should be possible. Is COC going to aggress into this one?
Well, I don't think they can. He's kind of all alone here. Now, Bullying taking a bit of damage himself, and yeah, it looks like Lulu always knows that the longer he stays here, the worse this is potentially going to get, because here comes the rest of Infantry, and a 1v4 against Infantry is nigh unwinnable for anybody in the world. I don't care who you are. And yeah, Lulu always, he's like, all right, I got to knock out a Longsker. I did it. That's something. He's going to honk. Attaboy, Lulu always. I like it. A little bit of a send-off there on the Infantry. Now Starlord rolls up behind. Now Starlord had to have seen that kill feed. He knows what's going on. The problem is he exposed himself. Starlord takes a bunch of damage here. The rest of T1 needs to be in position to support Starlord. He's out on an island right now. I thought the rest of T1 might be coming with Starlord to try to box Infantry, and that is not the case.
Okay, if Starlord is able to survive, then T1 can gatekeep Infantry from coming into the circle. Adder has put some good bullets into the vehicle. Zhao Yang has pulled up to the compound. Starlord's in trouble. Now that's going to be Zhao Yang putting even more damage. Is Starlord going to be able to escape this one? Yes, with barely just 2 HP in his backpack. How in the world is he going to be able to alive? How's he alive?
I don't know. He's going to slide on into Gatka. A nice 360 180 coming in there. Starlord 4 hit points away from disaster for T1, and he is able to escape with his life, but just barely. Here we go. Longsker is very hurt. He's sending it. He's down. Max Zora is going to get Longsker. Now that point is not going to go into the hands of T1, so they're not able to catch up any ground on Infantry just yet. Bullying up and over. Helen with a decent spray gets 1 shot. Now Solhe 1 Prince looking to try to gatekeep Infantry as well. Helen continues to rain fire down on the Bullying. No damage really done now as he continues to work his way up, and Starlord does get Kim Goni. That's a very important point here for T1. They need to really start racking up the kills.
All right, Rex has found the spray down onto Zhao Yang. The final bullet isn't there just for Rex to find the knock there. Infantry is going to be able to reposition at the edge of this mountain. And right now, Lil Ghost is going to put even more hurt into Infantry. 9 down dusted, just 2 members alive. And his 9 have more. XS is going to be waiting in the edge. Zhao Yang, that's going to be Bullying pulling out from the UAZ, but he's going to have to pull the medkit and heal off, as XS is going to be pulling the medkit of his own as well.
Oh, sorry, they're coming up over the... Oh, what?
What?
Lulu always is absolutely on fire
Infantry's
right now.
gone. Infantry's gone.
All right, the door is open. TSG has a very good chance. Infantry out right away. No points in the bag for Infantry. This is really fascinating. Adder, did he lose a tire? It looks
2
like
tires.
He must have, yeah, because he's having trouble with that. Poor Adder. Oh boy, I think someone's going to have to come and pick him up. I can see Helen come down there to go for the retrieval, but still a long way to go for T1. TSG in a decent spot, but it's going to take a lot of kills and potentially a win. Just 13 points for TSG. So, it's very, very doable for them. No doubt about it. A second place plus... It's going to need 8 kills because there's no way they have as many kills as Infantry, I don't think. I don't think they're anywhere close in that department. And it is going to be really interesting for TSG here. How do they play this?
All right, TSG has a good shot. T1 still has a shot if TSG gets driven out from the lobby. This is actually quite doable for both of these teams, as Starlord and the rest of T1 is going to start pushing into the mountains. There's Soheon Prince and Tiamba right next to them. So if T1 can kind of brute force themselves into this and try to take a couple kills, but right now Z9 Max with the AWM to make things even worse. Raining has to fall out of it. Nade's going to be flying right at it. Raining taking even more damage. Lulu always is going to knock out Lorena to open up the gates. M200 is going to find Yuri. So Tiamba's now farming up the kills that T1 and TSG desperately needs. There has to be players alive in the lobby for T1 and TSG to try to make up the kill points and try to overdo Infantry.
Yeah, the problem for T1 is they find themselves in a bad spot. They don't want to go into Solhe 1 Prince's position because you can see what's happening to them because of it. Rex over shooting into Solhe 1 Prince, not really landing much. So it's kind of a weird spot that T1 has found themselves in with this circle. They're trying to work their way up the other side, potentially try to get a flank into Tianba while they're busy dealing with Solhe 1 Prince. You can see Starlord Adder working backing up towards the front as much as they can like safely feel comfortable doing. There is still La Vega on the other side of this. I don't expect La Vega to try to third party this. That's not their MO. They very rarely go for third parties this early in a game. They're a very passive team early on. And now Z9 up top with that AWM with the level 3 gear. That is Scary Town. He is the king of the hill right now.
All right, so for T1 to win this game, if TSG doesn't make how many points, they have to get 10 kills and a win. They are 19 points behind right now, and which directly translates to they have to kill 1/3 of this lobby, and any player dying out right now is basically heart bleeding for these T1 players, and now T1 has to go aggressive, I feel like.
They have to. You're absolutely right. There's not enough players left in this lobby. There's only 30 alive. They got to start picking it up. I think it's almost done. I think it's almost out of the realm of the possibility that they do this. They have to literally kill the rest of this lobby. I think at this point you can pretty much chalk it up that T1 can't win the event. TSG has a shot though. T1 could still get second place. But right now, I don't think there's any way possible that they can do this with how many players are still alive. I mean, there's only 25 players other than themselves. They literally have to wipe this lobby to win.
Solheim Prince is going to continue to aggress on top of the mountain, but Helen has found a good angle. Nifix takes a bunch of damage. They need to pick up these kills. Rex finds a nice knock. He's about to find the flush onto the player as well. That's going to be another point. 18 points behind. That's 9 kills and a win for T1. But TSG looks so strong, 197 points, and that's already hard to beat for T1.
Yeah, they got to go. T1's just kind of got to go. As much as they might not like the position that Solheim Prince is in, they might just have to just kind of wrap to it and try to, scrape up whatever points they can. They're pinned down pretty hard by Tianba is the problem. It's really difficult for them to move. There's a lot of open space in the way that Tianba has angles down to for them to maneuver. So eventually they have to go that way anyway, though, as this circle will most likely move away from them. And, well, it kind of does. So, yeah, they do have to go up that way. But bench, T1 has to go they just have to go ham. There's no other choice if they're going to win this event.
T1 has to go towards Solheim Prince and kind of run into Tianba as well. There's no way they're climbing the mountain from the southern edge. They have to go this way. TSG is now sending it in to the edge of the circle. There's a player from SMG, Lenren, waiting at the edge. Oh my god, Lenren might be in trouble, but TSG at the same time could be suffering from a couple knocks, and that could be problematic. Lenren spotted out the players. He's going to back out into the basement. That might be an issue for Lenren here.
Yeah, this could be brutal for TSG if they lose a player in this fight, but that basement, not the ideal spot to be. I mean, now you're stuck down there, and there's nowhere else to go.
All right, T1 now sending it in towards the way of Solheim Prince. Here you go. You need to do it. In the meantime, TSG is trying to clear out this compound where Lenren is holding on to. Lenren, good spray now, finds one. Can he get the second knock as well? No. TSG is going to be able to clean out this compound and try to get into the center circle. If possible, they're going to have to take the rest back onto their down teammate. In the meantime, T1 has sent it up the mountain. Starlord out in the front, raining, waiting. Maxora is going to be on the other end, try to provide some support fire.
Well, here we go. Big do-or-die moment for Adder. Nope. It's going to be Raining who gets the better of him and takes him down. Now Helen trying to come through. He does make Raining pay for it at least. You can see he's just spraying at anything he sees, just reactionary, trying. The adrenaline has to be flying right now for T1. They're trying everything they can, but it's too little too late. The rest, they can't put up 1 point in 3 games to start the day and have a hope here as things are falling apart. Kale does get Zach on the background. Starlord has the upper angle. Maxora still down there. I think he just caught a glimpse of Maxora. Helen going to go for the grenade over towards Maxora. It's good! Wow, what a nicely timed grenade from Helen right on the head of Maxora. Here comes number 2 if it's on the money. Wow, Maxora got the first aid kit off just in time to avoid the death.
T1 lost the kill onto Raining. Tianba was able to steal that kill away, so I don't know if the nade's gonna... What? Songjang from miles away is gonna land the nade onto Shandian. He's gonna find another knock to 911. TSG is quick to fall apart now.
Yeah, this is looking really bad for TSG. That's 2 members knocked. And here comes the survivors. They're fighting a couple different teams. There's EJ left from Afrika. And then you got Entis very strong up on top of the hill. Kale did go down to EJ. Peng is looking for EJ right now. He heard those shots. EJ is well booking it away from there. And for TSG right now, nobody's been flushed. But now there's a good angle for Under. He whiffs the first couple shots. Under going for the tires onto that vehicle. Kind of a little bit of desperation. Sungjong down for Peng EM. So right now, TSG, they are clinging to the edge of this cliff, literally and figuratively. Coming through, going for some reses is Peng. Over on the other side, T1 did get another kill, but right now, all eyes on TSG. There is hope.
There is hope for TSG. It looks like they're going to be able to go for the res. In the meantime, T1 is able to rake up a couple more kill points onto Tiamba and La Vega. Looks like they're going to have 4 kills under their belt. The res onto Star-Lord is possible. Res onto Shandian is possible as well. So these two teams continuously fighting each other. And right now, not a lot of kills left in this lobby. And these two teams have to go aggressive no matter what.
I mean, literally, T1 needs to kill everybody else in this lobby. They literally have to kill everyone else in this lobby. It is almost over for them. They have to just start forcing the issue. They have to just brute force their way through the rest of these teams, come up the ridgeline of the mountain, try to finish this out. Now, Max Zora gone. Oh, no. Helen just got knocked. He traded. Star-Lord's knocked now. Not good. COC holding the line on the top. TSG trying to come up the hill. There isn't much going on for T1. Their tournament lives on the line. Helen is out. It is looking dire. Rex goes down. T1 is out. They will finish in 3rd place.
T1 got knocked out. Now it came down to TSG. They need 9 more kills, or if they can win, then even better. All right, TSG has a really good shot now.
TSG is in the driver's seat. This is a golden opportunity. I mean, the pressure is on. Can they hold fast? It is everything that they have ever wanted to come through and win a major tournament like this. Can they finally come through and do it? They have a great chance. They have a really great chance. Savior going to get under. Under is out. Under is down. He should be finished here. Indigo is just hiding. 4 members for TSG. Now, COC is still in the way. They could potentially play the Heartbreakers, the spoilers in this one. Indigo as well, so, you know, just snaking here. He doesn't have much health left. I don't know if Indigo even has any health left, considering he's at half and he hasn't tried to heal in a little while. TSG now wrapping around the side, making sure this is clear. Now, Savior's up here. Oh, Savior takes one right in the dome from 911. Here comes the molly up and over into his face. Is he going to be able to avoid damage? Yes, he is. He is able to get that first aid off.
Because of Gex Ace popping out, Indigo's position hasn't been revealed, and it looks like TSG might let that one pass, and that could be a thorn in the back. And Shandian trying to overlook at the edge of the circle, trying to wrap around as well. A nice little neat play, I would say. And now EJ is on the very top as well. Gex Ace spotted out. Shandian takes the kill point. TSG looks pretty strong right now.
It is looking really, really good for TSG. Can they do this? Can they go and finish this with a win and take the tournament for themselves? It looks incredible. Now, if they lose somebody to Indigo, that could be really, really bad, and it kind of depends on where this circle shifts as well. Working the ridge line is TSG. COC might be seeing a little bit of this movement potentially. Indigo not moving a muscle. Now Indigo finally going for some kind of heal. There's been too much action going around onto him. Didn't feel comfortable, didn't feel safe doing it. There's also EJ over here to potentially play spoiler. What can TSG doing? Shandian, man, he's getting in a vehicle and he's going down. Love this maneuver here from Shandian.
911 could be caught off guard here. Indigo's waiting at the crevices, and 911 has to be careful about it. There's still EJ on the top, and hopefully that doesn't divert away too much attention of the TSG players away. Indigo is going to be continuously waiting. Looks like he might just even try to be the heartbreaker here for TSG.
Oh yeah. Oh, he might be. I mean, if you're Indigo, you wouldn't mind it. You'll take it. Anything you can get is just money in the bank, and you might even leapfrog Tiamba to get yourself a little extra money. That's definitely what Indigo's thinking about. He's going to snake this out as long as he can and try to gobble up as many points as possible for Entus, of course. EJ probably feeling the same, although EJ, he's kind of out there on an island, and he's going to have to come in, although he is going to be able to get into the circle relatively soon. I'm not sure how much cover he's going to have up there. COC pushing down. So this looks very reminiscent to the fight that Entus took against Element 36. Yeah, exactly. So this is going to, if it plays out like that, TSG has a great position.
Oh yeah, the reason why Entus could win was that Under's position was completely anchoring position that put E36 down on the floor. Nan almost spotted out the player there. COC has to back out for a little bit. Now, just 9 players in this lobby, 4 teams alive, which 2 is about to get knocked out as Indigo and Africa Freaks is a single player alive. Shandian gets knocked out from miles away. Lulu always, how does he land these headshots?
He's just on fire right now. Already 4 kills for Lulu always. Now XS going for the flank here. That was level 3 gear and a Mark 14 for Shandian. You really do not want that position to fall down. Does Peng have any clue? Peng is moving over for the heal. That's going to be XS seeing him. He definitely spots that out. That is a finish now. The kill stolen by Indigo. More damage being done to TSG. They're getting surrounded by a couple different teams. XS going for the grenade, but Peng had already left that situation. He's going to move over and grab the utility that Shandian has on his dead body.
All right, there is still EJ in the talk, and let's see where EJ wants to fire upon. 3-on-3 on... Oh, that's already a member of COC is down. So this actually is favoring TSG.
If TSG gets second, I think they've got this. I think if they get second, they've got this. If I'm not mistaken, if my math is correct. So this all comes down to TSG. Can they weather this storm? EJ coming up the side. It looks like Volibear heard him. Gonna go for that grenade. Cooked pretty well, but it's a bit off the mark. Does some damage, about 36 there to EJ. Not enough to be anything substantial. He's gonna go for those heals. He is still not in the circle though. So for EJ, he's gonna have to move at some point. And you can see Triumphant Song Gaming being very patient, very calculated with this, knowing full well the situation they are in.
Peng M is going to be waiting at the edge, and XS has to get into the circle as well. And looks like he might just be able to go by the terrain and try to cover himself up. But Peng M might have a clean idea that he should be looking that way as well. And EJ definitely has been spotted out. 9-1-1, putting bullets in his way, and that's not going to be good. If TSG picks up Afrika Freaks and takes the second place, it's over.
It's over. That's gonna be a tournament. XS goes down. Huge opening for Peng M. What a shot from him. He's gonna go right for that first aid. That is opening the door big time. That eliminates their biggest threat in this circle. If XS can get that flank open for COC, then it's a real problem for Triumphant Song Gaming. Instead, it's going to be Peng M with maybe the biggest shots of the tournament for this team. They are in a great position here, is TSG. Smokes are out for EJ. He's trying to get down the mountain. It is all but over here. TSG might be coming through with the victory.
Volibear has flanked up to the top, and EJ could be easily spotted out here. Good kill! That's going to grant a kill point towards TSG, and now they have granted the second place, and we're about to crown the prince here.
You're absolutely right. It is looking really good for TSG. This looks to be their tournament. It looks to be your PS2 champions are going to be TSG, but they got to finish this round out. Let's see if Lulu always got some magic inside of him, but at this point, the points are there for TSG, potentially. Lulu always coming up and over with that barrel, but he is completely surrounded. Look at the angles that TSG has on top of Lulu always. Volibear up high, 9-11 in the middle, Peng M on the flank. Is it going to be Peng M once again picking up another big kill here? Lulu always taking some damage from up top from Volibear. He's got a decent angle, gets backed off by Lulu always. Now it's up on the side from Peng EAGM. Good grenade is going to finish it. TSG! They are going to do it. Your PUBG Continental Series 2 champions is going to be Triumphant Song Gaming.
Congratulations to Triumphant Song Gaming. It had to come down to the final match of the total tournament. It had to be the 24th match out of all the matches for TSG to take the win here against Infantry.
Unbelievable finish. What a moment for these guys. They come through and win the very final game of the day to take the tournament. Surprise, surprise. They come through. I cannot believe it. Methodical, efficient. So good today. 2 wins today for TSG. 1 on Miramar, 1 here on Erangel.
How in the world it had to come down to this? How in the world did they win the match of Miramar? How did they win the match of Erangel of all things? And how did Infantry get knocked out from the lobby for the final match even?
I don't know. Infantry was in a really bad spot, and they were just completely blocked out by the worst enemies possible. T1 was one of the teams over there. So T1, they're eager. You saw T1, you saw Starlord go out for it. They know that Infantry's out there. They know who it is because they saw the kill feed from when I think it was Lulu always came out there for COC and got a knock on a Longsker, and that made things even worse for them. As soon as that kill feed showed their position, then all eyes are on that part of the circle.
Oh yeah, everyone, the whole world was looking right at it, and that marked the words for Infantry, and TSG comes up top with how many points? 16 points. That's definitely more than enough to put them on the lead, and COC comes with 14, so that might be able to propel them into more money they can put in the bank.
What a great day. What a finish here at PCS2 Asia. You couldn't ask for a more exciting game here from these boys. They were incredible. 9-1-1, I think, for my money, the MVP. Peng EGM had a great finish. Just all around, what a solid performance from them. And they do come through.
Wow.
It is indeed Triumphant Song Gaming over Infantry. 3rd place is T1. Great performances from all these teams, each of them having just special moments throughout this tournament.
T1 spelt the tilt with T1, and that's going to put them in 3rd spot. They had a very, very consistent days throughout the first 2 weeks, but coming into week 3, I don't know what happened to them, but things were quick to fall apart for T1, and that's going to put them in 3rd spot, away from even 2nd place from Infantry.
Today was just not their day. They just couldn't seem to get anything going, whether it was on Miramar or Erangel. Nothing was really flowing for them. They couldn't find good positioning. Their play calling seemed a little off. It seemed like they were kind of not fully aware of what was going on at times. That weird, huge 1-1-1-1-1 split they did on Miramar in game number 2 was really bizarre to me because they had to have known what's going on in the background. But anyway,
before we crown the king, there's an announcement to make. Because it's the Chinese team who takes the win here for the Korean qualifiers, basically all 6 spots are open for the Korean qualifiers of PCS3 Asia, and that's going to start next week, Friday, Saturday for the PCS3 Korean qualifiers. So do drop by. It's PUBG Korea _EN on Twitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you guys are tuning into that. We're not taking much of a break. And T1, since they weren't able to win, does not qualify directly to PCS3. They're going to have to fight their way through the Korean qualifiers once again. But I got to give T1 a ton of credit. What a performance for them. What a rejuvenation for Star-Lord moving over to that team. High hopes for them going forward.
Yeah, we really shouldn't be talking down on T1 because it's their new roster. New roster coming fresh, and some way, somehow, in an international tournament is about to come out in 3rd place. That's a great effort as well.
Yeah, I really agree with you. I think this is a team to look out for going forward throughout all of these international competitions. I think they have a fantastic roster put together. They're really, really strong players from top to bottom. And don't forget, they have a COD on the bench to even make this thing even deeper for them. There's a lot to look forward to if you're a T1 fan. This is the best T1 we have ever seen. So you absolutely should keep your hopes up. And there you can see our total damage dealers. It is 911 who comes through. He really set himself apart from the rest of the pack today.
9,400. Over 9,000! Over 9,000! Jesus Christ!
This let you meme with the Dragon Ball Z memes. All right.
I had to do it.
I know.
But yeah, before we go, we should be giving some proper shout out and crowning to TSG. Should we do that?
Well, we already did. I'm good. They've got their winning moment. I'm very happy for them.
Yeah. I'm so happy.
Yeah, these guys are nuts. I'm so glad to see them come out of China and perform so well. But props to the Longsker, who continues to just be an absolute madman. One of the best players in the world. 2 kills behind 911. 911 taking both of those categories, the damage and the kills. Look at that Peng EGM right there as well. So he was playing great this whole tournament. That was fun. That was a great game to end on. I am so thrilled with that. PUBG Continental Series 2 Asia did not disappoint.
My stims are going down, and man, I'm losing my energy right now.
We're gonna sleep well tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna sleep like a baby.
Yeah, just great stuff. And again, congratulations to Triumphant Song Gaming, your PCS2 champions, guys. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll be back soon with some more PCS action, PCS3 qualifiers, and the event itself coming up. Plenty of PUBG Esports action coming your way. We love you guys. Take care. Have a wonderful day wherever you may be.